an atmosphere we have got for you tonight in Virginia. What a scene, what a sight, and what a crowd. Pleased to say for the second time in 3 races, it's a sellout crowd. Yes, Richmond Raceway joins Iowa Speedway in packing the stands. As we welcome you to NASCAR Cup Series racing on USA from Richmond Raceway, this is the Cookout 400. What a beautiful night. It's been a warm day, but it's cooling off, and it's going to be a great night of racing. Hi, folks. Lee Diffie, along with Richmond winner Jeff Burton and our colleague Steve Letart's on his way up from the Peacock pit box. It's great to remember that you're a winner. It's great to be back in your home state. And somebody who would really like to do what Jeff did, and that is win for the Roush organization. These days, RFK is Ryan Preece on the pole. But the walls are closing in, Jeff. Tonight and next weekend in Daytona before the playoffs, what's it going to be like for this young man if he can do that and get himself in?
I think he loves being in this situation, especially at this type of racetrack. If you think about Ryan Preece, he cut his teeth in the Northeast on short tracks. He is comfortable here, and he's fast in practice, obviously sitting on the pole, but he also had really good race pace.
He said before he even got here that he was confident that he could do it. But it's going to be a wild night here in Richmond. Tempers flare. We've seen that over the years.
Oh, this is a great racetrack. You know, it's a new type of race tonight. This is kind of old school feeling to me. The tires are going to wear out. You're going to have to manage those tires. Some drivers can do it better than others. Good handling race car is a major advantage, but it is going to fall in the driver's hands tonight.
Let's check out the starting grid brought to you by Monster Energy. We already told you that Ryan Preece is on the pole. He'll share that front row with Tyler Reddick. AJ Allmendinger, best start of the year, alongside a 5-time Richmond winner Denny Hamlin on row 3. Chase Elliott, he shares that with Brad Keselowski. Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell on the 4th row. Alex Bowman and Michael McDowell, row 5.
Row 6. Last year's controversial winner, Austin Dillon, alongside Chris Buescher. Row 7, Austin Cindric and William Byron. Both of these drivers are locked into the playoffs. Row 8, Carson Hocevar, Ty Dillon. Both of these guys need to win to make the playoffs. Josh Berry, Eric Jones in row 9. Row 10, Chase Briscoe having a career season, and Ryan Blaney trying to get a late regular season win.
There's Daniel Suarez. He starts on row 11. Great weekend last weekend for Trackhouse with all 3 cars finishing in the top 10. We go back to row 12 after Noah Gragson. It's Ty Gibbs and Cole Custer. Then Justin Haley, Riley Herbst. And then last week's winner, Shane Van Gisbergen, shares it with a man desperate for a win here tonight. That is the 6-time winner here, Kyle Busch. And then Zane Smith and Kyle Larson will have to work his way from 30th place.
Right behind them, Todd Gilliland. He's got to go to the rear, do some unapproved adjustments. Corey Heim won the truck race last night. Behind them, Ross Chastain and John Hunter Nemechek, both drivers very disappointed with their qualifying efforts. Got a long way to go. Jesse Love, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Jesse Love, his 5th career Cup start. And then in the last row, row 19, Cody Ware and Joey Logano, 2-time Richmond winner, had a wreck in practice. He is starting at the very back.
That is just the 4th time, Jeff, that Joey is starting last in the field. There's still a lot to get to before the drop of the green. Please update us if you would, Kimmy Kuhn.
Well, Richmond has not been one of Ryan Blaney's best tracks. In fact, it is the only oval where he doesn't have a top 5 finish. Tonight, they'll have to overcome starting 20th, but crew chief Jonathan Hassler said there is definitely room on the car's balance to adjust and make more lap time. And despite the lackluster qualifying effort, the team comes in with high hopes, riding some momentum after 4 straight top 10 finishes. They would love to get a 5th straight tonight to keep the morale high before the playoffs, Marty.
Kim, you would think after the win at Iowa 2 weeks ago, a track modeled after Richmond, that William Byron would be feeling pretty confident tonight. But I talked to Rudy Fugle this morning, and he said, you know what? Richmond's actually been a very difficult racetrack for us. He said, I would rank it in the top 2 of tracks where we have to get better. Richmond and New Hampshire are on the top of that list for us. He said, we've been perennially a 6th to 10th place car here, but we're always experimenting. We'll see if they bring a new setup and maybe can get a little bit better for William Byron and get his first Richmond win. Dave?
Marty, on the 71 car, driver and crew chief have known each other for a long time. So when crew chief Travis Peterson tells me Michael McDowell is trending in the right direction on the short tracks, I believe him. Qualifying 10th there is the best he's ever done in the Cup Series. Will it be enough? We'll find out, because McDowell needs to win to make the playoffs. Meanwhile, we talked to you about the 48 driver of Alex Bowman being a guy who stresses all the time about anything. Well, they delayed the start of this race, according to NASCAR, and they're going to have to go to the back. They were fixing the passenger side mirror on the 48 car, and now he will have to start from deep, deep in the field, Lee.
Good stuff, Dave. Thanks very much. We'll keep an eye on that. The official pace car for today's Cookout 400 is the 2025 Toyota GR Supra. And there it is. How many times will we see that at the front of the field tonight? How many cautions are we going to see? How much action are we going to see? Well, it's Saturday night short track racing at its best here in Richmond. We like to bring you some insider information, some eavesdropping each and every race. And let's join the pole sitting car from RFK Racing of Ryan Preece for a pre-race pep talk. Here it is.
10-4. All right, boys, today we be elite. I know each and every one of you has it because we've seen it. We're starting from the pole. Best stop you can start from. Let's go do this. All right, let's get after it. We know what we got to do tonight. There's only one way in, so let's just get it done. Yes, sir. Chasing dubs, that's it.
Chasing wins. That is it. Michael McDowell, who starts from 10th position in this race. It is a stunning night here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. A packed house with so much on the line, and none more so for the guy who's going to start from pole position.
Under pressure. This is a fun racetrack. And I said it at the beginning, Ryan Preece, he's ready for tonight, but there are so many unknowns going into this race. In practice yesterday, the tires would lose a ton of speed. Steve Letarte did a great job of walking through the potential strategies in our Countdown to Green show. We're going to watch it all unfold tonight. I think it's going to be chaotic.
Stevie's made it up from the Peacock pit box just in time, mate.
It's electric on pit road, electric in the stands. It took me a couple minutes because it's a packed house out front. You mentioned pit strategy. Tire conservation is going to be right on top of mind right away. 70-lap first stage diff. That's a long way to go on a set of good years.
Now, he does sit in a comfortable playoff position, does Tyler Reddick, but he hasn't won since Homestead last year. He'd like to put that to bed right here, right now, tonight. Listen to that crowd. They know it's time to bring the action. Some Saturday night short track racing. Let's go. The Cookout 400 here in Richmond is underway, and the pole man Ryan Preece leads the field.
William Byron, about row 7. He jumped up, made it 3 wide, picked up some spots. Still trying to make it work. McDowell trying to shut the door.
Trying to get to that right rear quarter panel. McDowell knew that was going to be a costly spot. 3 wide with a dive move to the inside. Chase Elliott, that teal car stuck in the middle.
That's Bubba Wallace down on the low side for 2311 Racing. What a stretch he's having at the moment. That team is in form, and ever since he won the Brickyard 400, Jeff, there is no looking back.
And tonight's an opportunity to start building that playoff momentum. Chase Elliott with a stereotypical move for this racetrack. Make a late left-hand turn, trying to gain that position, getting into turn 1.
And you'll see Alex Bowman a couple of cars back. We did have that pre-race report, but fortunately for the 48 team, it did keep its original starting position. BuiltSubmarines.com on board for Brad Keselowski.
With all the conversation about tire wear, how hard can you run early in a run, Steve? Can you be aggressive with these tires? Or are you going to hurt them? That's something I think these drivers and teams are going to learn throughout the night.
In practice, they just lost so much grip at 50 laps, nearly 3 seconds. But that was in the heat of the day. Now the sun's starting to set. The drivers now know the limitations. They're the best stock car drivers in the world. But that's why in pre-race we mentioned drivers like those 3 right there, the 11 of Denny Hamlin, the 6 of Brad Keselowski, the 9 of Chase Elliott. I think that experience will show. Remember we had tire wear at Bristol. It was the wily veterans that showed up.
At the back of the pack, if you're a Joey Logano fan, he has made up 3 positions fairly swiftly. Here's the Hunt Brothers Pizza onboard camera. He's just got past Corey Heim as he tries to weave his way through.
Well, he's got to go, because if he doesn't, he's going to get lapped. That's the danger in losing track position. They'll get around to you quick.
Yeah, Jeff, the poor thing for Joey Logano is he didn't lose it, he just never had it. He just dreams about being towards the front of the field.
Look at this. Look at the calling Chevrolet of AJ Allmendinger up against the wall, side by side with Tyler Reddick. AJ had his best start of the year. and now is edging his way closer to holding on to that second spot.
Conversation with AJ. He wasn't real happy with his car at Racetrail yesterday. Was a little surprised that he qualified as well as he did. Said they needed to make some adjustments. Needed to get the front end to work a little bit better. Looks like they've done it.
He told me today, I am going to try as hard as I have ever tried to get this thing done. The biggest challenge is balance and tires. Haven't we heard that before?
That's it, Steve.
Yeah.
Good handling car. Don't wear the tires out. It sounds easy.
Xfinity Mobile on board for Tyler Reddick. It was a really eclectic mix, Steve, at the end of qualifying, certainly say in the top 15. Just it was mixed up with the likes of Allmendinger being as high as he has, Michael McDowell having a good qualifier. I mean, it was different drivers in interesting positions and people in prominent positions not necessarily locked into the playoffs.
And, you know, shame on me a year ago. Austin Dillon showed speed in practice. I didn't believe it. I just didn't. I hadn't seen the three have that raw speed. And then he comes out, and I know he won the race in controversial fashion, but the truth is, until he kind of flubbed that final restart, he had to win. It was his race to win, and that's why I'm not ruling out any of these other cars that you mentioned, right? I learned my lesson a year ago. So which one of these other drivers are going to show up now with only 2 races left? Or will it be like a William Byron right here hanging tough on the outside of the 77? Because, Jeff, that's the other conversation is the drivers that are in the playoffs. I mean, remember, SVG won a week ago. We don't expect him to be a championship contender. I think he would say that even on his own, right, learning the ovals. But that leaves the regulars, right? Who has the momentum? Who has something motivating them heading to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's so important to enter the playoffs knowing you and your team are where you need to be. Confidence makes a difference. When things start going poorly for you, Steve, and it does, there's adversity for every team in the playoffs. You have to have confidence that you know what to do to get yourself out of it.
Yeah, you're clear here, clear. Working to roll back, he's there, just outside.
It's the fight for 9th. The ally on board from Alex Bowman shows us Austin Cindric.
Kevin Hamlin, the spotter, was the radio you heard. Very calmly, almost like he's riding along with his driver. Just information, encouragement. This would be a great look at just how, you know, the cars are driving as we get longer into this run. Now 13 laps complete, and here comes AJ Allmendinger. The speed continues out of Kaulig Racing.
Earlier this week, if I had asked either of you on the 15th lap of this race, would you say Ryan Preece, AJ Allmendinger? I think I know the answer.
If Jeff says yes, he's lying.
It's good. That's what we want at this point in the season.
That's what we saw in practice. We just saw so many different drivers and teams that we didn't expect to have tons of speed, and it's happening tonight so far.
Let's check in with Dave Burns. Dave-O.
Covering the leaders tonight, Ryan Preece in that blue 60 Mustang. Talked to him about the start of this race. I said, how aggressive are you going to be? He said, oh, you'll see aggressive. I want that control. We've got the best starting spot. This helps us dictate the race, the pace on those tires early on. Jeff, you know that if you're out front, you control things.
Makes such a difference. Even on a short track, Dave, to have a little bit of clean air, you can manage your tires a little bit better. You're not having to fight for position. Put your car in a situation you really don't want it to be in. This is definitely the place everybody wants to be.
It's been a special period too for Ryan Preece because he got to race his wheel and modified car here on Friday night. Didn't win that race, but it's always good when he can go back to his roots. And in recent time was just voted in the top 40 all-time drivers for the wheel and modified tour. What a nice honor.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, one driver that at the start of this race has not been kind to is Chris Buescher. He's lost 7 spots from where he started. They're struggling with handling. The car's not driving the way he wants it to drive. Not the beginning of the race this team is looking for.
Let's check in with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Yeah, Lee, so far not a word from Chris Buescher about losing those 7 spots that Jeff mentioned. But Steve, if you're Scott Graves, his crew chief, clearly they're in a point situation here, being that last car currently in the playoffs. Would you maybe risk it here, come halfway down through stage 1? That seems to be the aggressive play. Would you be willing to give up that track position for those fresh Goodyears here this early?
I think it's too risky, to be honest. I mean, look, you can make yourself feel good early, or you can be in position late. And I think the trick is when you have a tire limitation of how many sets you think you need, you're better off to save them to that final stage. That's when the most points are paid. That's when the trophy is given out. You just have to make sure you can stay on the lead lap if someone else chooses that aggressive strategy.
Let's take you back just a moment ago and show you Jesse Love and Riley Herbst. Some contact.
2 young drivers getting moved around by an experienced driver. Joey Logano saying, I got to go, boys. Looked like he was into the back of the 33 of Jesse Love.
Let's make a little passage for me so I can sneak on through and continue to climb. Logano is up from 38th and last to 31st. Racing under the lights here in Richmond. Glad you're with us. Sun setting here in Virginia, and the lights starting to take effect, and the lights shining brightly on the RFK Ford of Ryan Preece out in front. But have a look at this. Competitors, owner and driver, Denny Hamlin in the progressive Toyota Camry passes one of his drivers in Tyler Reddick from 2311.
My advice would be to follow him. You are learning. The guy in front of you is one of the best at this racetrack and on short tracks in general. Anything you can learn from Denny Hamlin will serve you well.
So just ahead of Denny Hamlin is AJ Armendinger, who runs Kim in a fine second place.
That's right. Remember in pre-race I said that AJ was surprised by their qualifying effort, so I asked him why. He said, well, we haven't had a good car here in 10 years, so after all the races here, I'm still trying to figure out what questions after yesterday on how good the car really was. I'd say it's good. He's still running in that second position.
Tim, Denny Hamlin is notorious for knowing what he needs in the car here at Richmond. Told Chris Gale after practice yesterday, car really good. And we talked about people maybe splitting stage one in half. Well, here you go, Steve. Rudy Fugle making the call to bring William Byron down pit road with 39 to go in stage one. Very likely the scuffed set of tires that he used in qualifying went on there for William Byron, who said he was literally drifting on entry, way tight in the center. So you wonder if this is going to bring other teams down pit road, Steve.
It's a little bit sooner than I thought they would come. I thought it'd be right at lap 35, dead in the middle as the 24 rejoins. One advantage here at Richmond is the way pit road works. You actually don't lose as much time as you would just imagine. You lose about 29 seconds, 19 seconds rolling and 10 seconds up pit road. So you look at 29 seconds total, that's about a lap and a half, depending on where you're running, or just under a lap and a half. We see now Kyle Larson in the 5 coming to pit road, so this seems like a Hendrick Motorsports decision. Kim.
And Kyle Larson pitting from near the back of the field. Remember, they had a terrible qualifying effort. We're afraid of going a lap down. They will make a chassis adjustment. We're still trying to get that balance better for Kyle, so does definitely look like a Hendrick Motorsports plan to split this stage in half. Dave.
Ty Dillon's going to take advantage of the strategy as well. You heard Jeff Burton talk in the pre-race show how he spoke with Ty and how confident Ty was about the speed in this race car this weekend. So we'll see how it works out here as they get their first set of new Goodyear tires on that car. As well, Kyle Busch now, who started back in the pack with a substandard qualifying performance, started 28th, was being chewed up and going in the wrong direction. His car falls over on the right rear, really loose on exit. Changes here, including the 4 tires and full of fuel. Here comes Eric Jones for Legacy Motor Club. That car has been decent this weekend. They knew that they had to, though, go forward, and being in the back of the pack, they had to take on this strategy as well, Marty, splitting the stage in 2.
Denny Hamlin comes to a sliding stop in his pit stall, pitting from the 3rd position. I can confirm these are the qualifying scuffs for Denny Hamlin going on the far. So the car was just way too tight at the 1/3 mark, a little bit longer on the left rear, and right behind him, Chris Buescher comes to pit road. That'll be stickers for Buescher, Kim.
Yeah, Austin Dillon already finished up his stop. Can also confirm qualifying scuffs on the 3 of Austin Dillon as we see him leaving pit road after that stop.
Good work from Denny Hamlin. He'd got past AJ Allmendinger for second just prior to pitting. Here is Tyler Reddick, and Dave's there.
So Tyler was a little bit loose on exit. That's why he was going backwards a little bit, but he was reminded early in the race what a good job he has done learning how to conserve tires. Billy Scott calling him in here halfway through stage 1.
Austin Cindric coming down pit road. He described the entry as, quote, good, but the exit just okay. Ryan Preece still on the track. He has not come to pit road. A moment ago, Chase Briscoe came to pit road. So really a mixed bag here. So far, the RFK cars of Preece and Keselowski staying out, Kim.
As you see there, Ty Gibbs finishing up his stop. He was just complaining about losing rear lateral on that run.
12 cars currently have yet to come to pit road, and I think that's really going to be the story. Are those 12 trying to save a set of tires? When I did the math before, I think if you were going to put a set of tires on the middle of this stage, you could run nearly 13 seconds faster over the course of 70 laps, but at the expense of a used set of Goodyears. Remember, only 8 sets for the race. You have to somehow make it 400 laps, Dave.
So road course ace Shane Van Gisbergen comes down pit road in the 88, will get 4 fresh tires. His crew chief told me that he believed that his abilities on the road course saving tires were going to help him here tonight. We'll see how far forward he can go. And then after a great run last week, a top 10 for Daniel Suarez at Watkins Glen. The 99 driver brings the 99 to pit road. He'll get 4 fresh tires and Sunoco fuel.
So the question begs, how far can the 60 of Ryan Preece go? How far will he go? Now 41 laps in the books.
Well, here's Denny Hamlin. He'll be unlapping himself. Look how much faster he is on these new tires. So what's a lap time? We'll call it 25 seconds. Denny Hamlin is 25 seconds behind race leader Ryan Preece with 29 laps to go. My math says he wins this stage easy. He unlaps himself. He drives completely around the racetrack and passes the 60. Let's listen into the 60 of Preece.
Hey, we've been taking care of it. I mean, everybody's pitting, but
In our bed, it's too late to pit now.
As you heard, crew chief just said, hey, we've made our bed. It's too late to pit now. So they're going to ride this out. But, Steve, to your point, they will have a set of tires over the entire field. If you get a late race caution and everybody's gone through them, that could be a major advantage for this team.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any way they're going to win the stage, but they should stay on the lead lap. So let's thank our friends at iRacing for this virtual Richmond Raceway. The leader, the white car, the yellow car, the chaser comes to pit road. Let's speed it up about 3 times. The yellow car will stop in the pit box for about 10 seconds, throw 4 tires on. The white car, the leader, comes around, boom, laps the yellow car. That's what Priest did to Hamlin. But now this is Hamlin, the yellow car. He's going to rejoin the racetrack. I'll speed it up 5 times. I'll give you a hint. In about 4 laps, the yellow car on the fresh tires unlaps itself. That's the key. It looks complicated, but here you go. It's risky until up at the top where it says -1 lap. That's the risk factor. Once he passes the leader, boom, that's where Denny Hamlin is right now, back on the lead lap. So that's working great for Hamlin. Now Byron, Dillon, Cindric, Blaney, Barry, they're in that danger zone right now. They have to get by Priest to unlap themselves. Hamlin right now, he's all the way up to 7th and coming only, what, 18 seconds back when you look at the pylon.
Slicing the time off. By the way, too fast entering pit road for the 54 of Ty Gibbs. He will have to serve that penalty. Good work from Tyler Reddick to be able to leapfrog AJ Allmendinger in that cycle of stops. So that was good work from 23-11, following in Denny Hamlin's footsteps. And here is Reddick right on cue, following his boss. And there's that time difference that Steve was talking about.
Yeah, I think this is just the inevitable. I think Denny Hamlin's going to easily drive off and win this stage. The only question is if he can keep Reddick behind him, the next car on new tires.
15.5 seconds behind the race leader, Ryan Priest, with 23 to go in this opening stage. Trimble knows that in the industries we all depend on, just like on the track, every turn matters. If you want to turn deadlines into finish lines, then turn to Trimble Technology. Confidence at every turn. And you can learn more at trimble.com. Racing under the lights, and the race is on for Denny Hamlin to catch race leader Ryan Priest, who has not pitted when we left you. The margin was about 15.5 seconds. Denny has halved that. Steve, it's down to 7.
Yeah, the big challenge in all of these engineering synopsis is traffic, right? That's the variable. We know how much the cars fall off. We know how much faster you should go. You see in the upper left, only 18 laps on Hamlin's tires, 17 on Reddick's, who's right on the rear bumper of the 11. He's absolutely going to catch Chase Elliott and Ryan Priest with 50-something laps. The question is all the cars in front. I don't think it's a question of if he will catch him, it's just when. But the variable in the equation is always traffic.
Jeff, I'm going to come back to you and ask you about the driving aspect for Preece. But first, let's check in with Marty. What you got?
Well, I wanted to show the right front that came off Brad Keselowski's car lead. He went the furthest of anyone. He went 42 laps. The teams call that blading on the inside of the right front, Steve, and it's pretty much all the way around this right front tire for Brad Keselowski, who again went a little bit further than everybody else. 42 laps on that tire. Is that a concern if you're Jeremy Bullins?
Actually, it's really not. I know it looks awful. I think that'll improve a little bit as the night goes on. It also improves a little bit the longer you run. I would be concerned if there was chunks missing, but just the actual little bit of cuts you see just in the tread, it's uncomfortable. And I'm not sure I would want to see it if I was a driver, but I've seen it before as a crew chief. You see the tire specialist right there measuring actually how much rubber is left on the tire, and the battle continues for what I think will eventually be the win of the stage between Hamlin and Reddick.
Yeah, Reddick has jumped to the outside. Denny Hamlin just running the bottom of the racetrack the way he's done so many times here. Denny Hamlin just getting to that yellow line as quickly as he can, trying to roll the middle. Tyler Reddick running the top, trying to kind of diamond the corner, meaning enter high, exit low. Two completely different driving styles here.
Give us some more of those driving tips for Ryan Preece. He knows that his advantage is being swallowed up. How difficult is it to manage from where he sits?
Well, he knows that he's going to get passed. So what he's trying to do is limit the amount of damage that is going to happen. So how do you do that? Tires are falling off big time. The leaders are in your mirror, less than almost a second. They're coming. Try to stay on the bottom, try to not spin those rear tires. Reddick underneath the 11 of Hamlin.
This is to repay what the boss did before.
And this will be for the stage win. Even though they're scored second and third, they're going to gobble up that 60 easily in the next 12 laps, and both the 11 and the 45 know it.
It's a race to get to Preece, right? You want to get to him, and you want to be in the line that he's not in. So what is going to happen here? Is he going so slow? Oh, Hamlin in the wall.
He thought he was trying to get to the outside of 60 because he knew exactly what you were saying, Jeff,
yes,
that if the 45 got to the left side of the 60, the 45 now the race leader.
And that's a moving pick, because essentially what Preece ended up being right there.
For the first time today, we have a different race leader. Let's have a look at that and watch the all-blue progressive Toyota Camry of Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, just this wall gets hit all the time. This wall just jumps out on you. When you leave turn 2, we went around the pace car the other day. It showed you how tight this corner is. It is amazing how different it is at turn 4. You can get up there, and the next thing you know, you're making contact.
Now, this is going to sound crazy because it's costing him a stage win, but I love this call for Ryan Preece. I love this call for Chase Elliott, for Alex Bowman. For all of these cars, you know, 77, the 7, the 71, all 3 Spire cars, as long as you stay on the lead lap, which is going to be very difficult for the 7 and the 71, but if you stay on the lead lap and have a set of Goodyear tires, that final stage, you get a couple yellows, it is like winning the lottery. You're going to have more grip than the entire field by a huge margin.
It was a big conversation prior to the drop of the green flag about tire conservation and the tire allotment. How many sets the teams had to play with here tonight, Marty?
And Lee, at this point, Chase Elliott just trying to hang on, but to Steve's point, they would be at a massive advantage with a few others later in the race if they get this extra set of tires in essence. But Chase was very clear on the radio to a spotter, Trey Pohl, about the information he wanted and what he didn't.
Got a string of them coming again. 3 back.
I don't care about anything but what's going on with the people that are coming on the other strategy.
Jeff, knowing you're at a tire deficit when you're driving behind the wheel, what kind of discipline does it take for Chase Elliott and all these other teams who have not stopped to not panic and say, hey, I know this is going to pay off later?
Well, I think that's what Chase was saying. Look, the only information I want to know right now is the guys that are coming behind me on tons of speed, just keep me informed on that. You pay attention to the strategy. I'm going to make as much lap time as I can on these old tires, and it'll be what it'll be. 7 laps to go. We'll see how this shakes out.
So these two on the same strategy. This is their own private little battle here.
So let's talk about the other drivers. I mentioned the Spire drivers with the lowest car on this strategy, the 7 of Justin Haley. He is basically in the middle, exiting turn 4. Here's the race leader of Reddick entering turn 3. So about the front stretch, 6 laps. That seems like more than enough time, but remember, Haley is slipping and sliding on these tires. You see it on the bottom left on the map. That 7 car, for this strategy to pay, he can't lose a lap. Small moments in these races make a big difference. For Justin Haley, he's hoping this traffic, there he is, first car in line, that all black car. You see all this traffic. He's hoping this traffic slows down that leader of the 45.
Kyle Busch way up the racetrack. He is back in 30th. This is not the start we expected from Kyle Busch. Great speed yesterday in practice, fastest in practice, really good long run speed, but he has been going backwards. Here he is, gets into turn 3, and the car just never turns. I believe he probably got loose on corner entry and he couldn't turn it, or he would have spun it out and just had to chase it up the racetrack.
Good save nonetheless. So we're counting down the laps in this opening stage as Busch tries to regain some positions and work his way back. Tyler Reddick now has a handy 2.7 second buffer over Denny Hamlin. Does this color scheme look familiar? And the sponsor, Chumba Casino, was exactly the same scheme as what his teammate Bubba Wallace won the Brickyard 400 in. Maybe some of that luck rolls off here in Richmond.
Well, I don't call it luck, I call it performance, and it's the repeat performance of a year ago where he ended up winning this race. Austin Dillon was running 14th, qualified outside the top 10, settled in, clicked some laps off. Between strategy, execution, and pit stop, Austin Dillon up to 4th. That's a big win in stage 1 as you see the battle for second heating up between owner and driver, the 11 and Bubba Wallace.
2311 cars are performing great tonight as Hamlin is pressuring Wallace, so it's the teammates first and second. 1 lap to go in this opening stage, presented by Credit One Bank. Started second, ran at the front. Priest kind of got an early advantage. Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin were on the same strategy. He came in, he was able to leapfrog AJ Allmendinger, who was running second early on. And then once Tyler Reddick got past one of his co-owners, he did not look back. And there it is. Stage 1 goes to the driver from 2311, Tyler Reddick. Second stage win this year. So there was enough that transpired in that opening stage to give us plenty to chew on and think about for the upcoming stages in this 300-mile, 400-lap Cookout 400. NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express Card. Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
A lot happened in the first 70 laps, but the big choice was to pit or not to pit. A handful of cars didn't, notably the race leader, Ryan Preece, who at the end of the stage finished 15th, Chase Elliott 13th, and Alex Bowman in 17th, the three highest finishers. Positions lost, but right there, extra set of Goodyear tires that may pay huge dividends later in the race, Kim.
Wave of momentum for Bubba Wallace and this team. Coming in, you see him at top of your screen. He said free in, half a number tight in the center. Could be better there, but don't touch my entry. Slight air pressure on the jack, Marty.
Handling-wise, Denny Hamlin said he's way too free on exit, and they have to come back to the right side to jack it up again for Denny Hamlin. The bigger issue, Dave, for Denny Hamlin, he thinks he has right rear toe link damage from that contact with the wall.
Only second stage win of the year for Tyler Reddick. Comes at a good time. They're very weak on stage points, heading for the playoffs. Good stuff for them. Look who's going to beat him off pit road, his teammate.
Both the 23-11 cars, really slick work. It was close there when Reddick left his pit box with Ricky Stenhouse. But it was Ryan Preece, the pole sitter for just the second time in his career, who led the majority of that opening stage. Will that extra set of tires come in handy later? What a sight that is, Richmond Raceway. Just the single race this year, and the fans have shown up in force to enjoy a night under the lights. So while we're in this break between stages 1 and 2, while we're in the break, 2 drivers received penalties. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Preece.
Denny Hamlin had a bad pit stop and then had an issue, but I think actually the penalty on Preece is the 16 of Allmendinger. We're going to get clarification from NASCAR.
16-1-6.
You know, the old 60, 16 sounds the same. So it's the 1-6 of Allmendinger. So here's the 11. They had a bad pit stop. Now the speeding penalty kind of takes it away, but this still is an emotional kind of, you know, just gives you a heartache. Now listen, they dropped the jack, right rear not on. We've seen this a million times. Now good job and good recovery to go back and jack it up, but it was absolutely going to hurt. But then in the 11, had a speeding penalty after that, so that was the penalty. You see the pit crew, though, they don't care about speeding. They're frustrated that they had a slow stop. They know that they're expected to perform better, and they expect themselves to perform better.
So just to come back for that penalty on AJ Allmendinger's 16 team, vehicle interference was the call.
Another penalty on pit road. Chase Elliott, he was also penalized, so he's going to the back.
So that's 3 cars that were prominent in the opening stage.
Yeah, and it's going to be, you just spotted the entire field. We made such a big deal about Joey Logano starting last. Well, now these guys have done the same thing 71 laps into the race. So you know, the good news if you're the 9 is you at least saved a set of tires. Be thankful you didn't burn a set of tires if you're going to spot the field. But if you're the 11 at Denny Hamlin, you burned a set of tires and you still gave up every bit of track position. Same thing for Allmendinger in the 16, who was having an amazing day. Oh, there right there is the penalty on the 16.
All right, get ready. Stage 2 is ready to roll, and it's an all 23-11 front row with Bubba Wallace leading the field back to green. Christopher Bell in that all-yellow DeWalt Toyota Camry for JGR. On that inside line, Reddick goes up around the outside. Whoa! John Hunter Nemechek got really wild and loose there. Did he get help?
It's wild back there in the back. We see it every week. Christopher Bell right around the bottom, working his way around Tyler Reddick.
Jeff, let's give some love to the Team Penske drivers of Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. Logano up 23 positions, Blaney up 15.
You see Austin Cindric right there running 4th. And the Alliance car, 21 of Josh Berry, he's moved up to 11.
Daniel Suarez comes into the picture nicely in that all-green 99, the Quaker State car. Daniel's coming off a top 10 from Watkins Glen last week. Really good to have all 3 Trackhouse cars in the top 10, and he's running well here, inside the top 10 in 7th at the moment.
6-car Brad Keselowski been running really well lately. Had several chances to win races this year, just has not been able to make it happen. Can he get it done tonight? I like the way this car looks. Let's ride along. BuildSubmarines.com, Cam. Watch what he does on corner exit. Just able to leave really low and straight. And that's super important when you have a race like this, Steve, where you're trying to conserve tires. If the car will turn in the middle and then you can leave low, it saves those rear tires so much.
Eric Jones and Carson Hocevar with Chris Buescher tucked in behind. And even though Chris went backwards at the drop of the green initially, he's trying to claw his way back and confirm his position in the playoffs in that 5th third, number 17 for RFK Racing.
That chaotic first stage. You got Bowman and Buescher, Priest, all those guys in a tight point battle, especially Bowman and Buescher. Neither one of those guys got points in the first stage.
All right, so we got a little look ahead. You mentioned the big penalties. Denny Hamlin, the 11, had speeding. The 16, 1-6 of Allmendinger, but also the 9 of Chase Elliott. So take a look at the top. The 19 of Briscoe coming in his box, the 9 of Chase Elliott entering his. If we pull it forward just a little bit, look at that orange line that's in front of the 9. That's a guide for Chase Elliott, right? So if we take this car right here, this 9 car right here, he needs to be basically over. So for him to be legal, he needs to be over all the way over there. You have to be able to see this orange line right here. That's the guideline for the 9 of Chase Elliott. He is way too far to the left. He is in the 19 box. That orange line is only a penalty when someone's in the box. That is exactly what happened to Briscoe. That is a great call by NASCAR. Unfortunate for the 9. Let's listen to the radio.
I mean, yeah, sorry. I don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation, unless you just want me to wave around and can fit the next time. He's a thick there, so, yep, all good.
Now, I understand the frustration, but I will say if we take a look up Pitt Road, right in front of the 9 is our Peacock pit box. So there's an opening leaving. I think that might have helped the 9 if he knew he could get a little wider around the 19, use that opening to leave. I understand the frustration, but those orange lines are there for guides for the driver.
Well, that's the exit, Steve. What about the entry, Jeff? How hard is that orange line to see?
Well, it's very difficult to see. However, it is difficult to make all that work when you have to go around the car in front of you, but it's what you have to do, right? It's your job as a driver. It's difficult. To Steve's point, with the clear box on exit of his pit box, then you can get in there deeper, and it makes it easier for the driver. Just a mistake there by Chase Elliott.
Top box, you're looking at Chris Buescher as he gets his way past the one of Ross Chastain. So Buescher at the moment has climbed his way. Car 17, position 17. Meanwhile, back up front, Bubba Wallace leads Christopher Bell. Then Tyler Reddick. Then Ryan Blaney, his teammate Austin Cindric. Cindric had some interesting comments this week, saying even though the results don't look so flattering of late, I think our team's never had better unity, and I know exactly what it is I have to do at this critical stage of the season.
Well, we've seen what Penske's done in the playoffs the last several years, right? We think, hey, they're not running very well in the regular season. Get to the playoffs, they find a way to win championships. So Austin Cindric trying to catch some of that magic that his teammates have had.
So just a real quick, I mentioned NASCAR's call. So here's the orange line right here. You see this box. What that box is there for is this is kind of the view that NASCAR's cameras have. And if the camera can see that box, then they know the left side of the car is over the line. That box is really just an officiating box. That's the combination. I know it can be confusing, but that's a combination between the box and the line. So that can be, you know, inspected by the camera system.
And those lines and boxes are used in times of an incident. They're guidelines, they're visuals for NASCAR to use when there's contact with a pit crew member or when a car is blocked getting into pit road. That's when they're used.
Man, there's lots gone on in 94 laps.
Tell us more about Christopher Bell, Dave.
Nice run so far tonight, Lee, for the driver of the 20 who won 3 races early in the 2025 season and has been looking to keep any momentum they can get as they head toward the playoffs here. His crew chief Adam Stevens told me today they thought their short track program would be as it has been, very good. And so a good pit stop by the team has Bell right where he needs to be, running down the 23 car if they can. Little free on entry, couldn't roll the center the way he wanted to, but they adjusted for that for this run.
Christopher was super strong here at Richmond a year ago. The 3-time winner this year. He led here last year, and then unfortunately with a late race pit stop got a pit road speeding violation and had to serve that penalty, and that kind of put paid to his chances. But here he is running in a super strong second. It's Toyota, Toyota, Toyota at the moment with Wallace, Bell and Reddick. Under the lights here in Richmond. One race to go after this before the playoffs. Early stages of the second stage here in the Cookout 400. Let's take a look at the Toyota driver update. because Toyota is well represented in the top 3 spots. Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and then Chase Briscoe running in the top 10. And the best 5 Toyotas, Eric Jones a little further back.
No real surprise to see these Toyotas up front. I said earlier that Reddick could probably, was smart for him to follow Denny Hamlin for a little while. Maybe Denny Hamlin taught Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick a little too much. Both at a lot of speed, and Bell, of course. A little bit deeper in the field, running in 19th place. Shane Van Gisbergen. Why are we going back here? Because he has won all these road course races, and everybody's talking about, can he advance in the playoffs? If you look historically, he's going to have to average about a 17th place finishes in round 1 with the points he's already earned. He only has 1 finish, a 17th or better on an oval this year. He is sitting here running 19th. I know people are saying, hey, 19th isn't very good, but if you think about where SVG was versus where he is now, and this is a very, very difficult oval. In my eyes, Dave, this is a step forward for SVG and this team.
And it's not like he's not trying, Jeff. We know he's super talented, and he is studying. Who did he study for this race? A lot of Denny Hamlin. Looked at all the data he could to find out how Denny did what Denny does each and every year at Richmond. So Stephen Doran, the crew chief, told me they ran 42 laps in practice. The tires came off worn, but not destroyed. He knew how to take care of it based on the studying he'd done, and he's done that so far here tonight, just struggling a little grip with overall grip.
Christopher Bell's trying to really put the pressure to a different level on Bubba Wallace at the front of this field. You know, Bubba is just stringing together ever since his Brickyard 400 win really consistent, positive results. Spoke to him earlier today. He says, man, this is going to be fun out here tonight. And Jeff, when you're in that positive frame of mind, it's easy to have fun when you're driving like he's driving, right?
Oh, no question. And it's even easier to have fun when you're out front. Leading races, this is all Bubba Wallace has ever wanted to do. Unfortunately for him, it's all Christopher Bell's ever wanted to do as well. Christopher Bell is working a completely different line around this racetrack. This is why, for drivers, this is one of the most popular racetracks that we go to. Because if the guy in front of you is doing something, you can do something completely different to try to find your way around him. No better example than what's happening right here.
Well, one of his co-owners is the driver of the 11, Denny Hamlin. Tell us more about Denny, Marty.
Yeah, Lee, after that slow stop a moment ago, what was Denny Hamlin's reaction on the radio? Listen in.
Oh, no. Yep, copy that. I can tell from the jack drop it wasn't on already. Yep.
Steve, I love what Chris Gale said after that. He said, man, I wish I had some motivational speech for you, but you're just going to have to muscle your way through the field. And then he made the point to Gale, the longer we run, it seems like the better we get. So far, plus 11 after starting at the back for Denny Hamlin. Now make it plus 12 as he goes by Justin Haley there. But sometimes, Steve, you just got to make it work when you're in the back.
Yeah, and just remind everybody, you know, I know it was a slow stop, but he was speeding as well. So it could have been the fastest stop in the world. Now, I don't know if the slow stop created the urge to speed or if one led to the other, but either way, the results are he was starting at the back. But I agree, Marty. I mean, at some point, you just have to figure it out. Now, I will say, you know, for the 11, they now have to look at what's next. So I'll let your head start to spin again there, Diff, but if you're going to stop 3 times in this stage, you're about 5 laps away from the window. I don't think they have enough tires to do that. So I expect them to only stop twice. So I imagine they're going to come around lap 125. But Preece, the guy with the extra set of tires, he's going to stop 3 times. So here comes the 60 of Preece on pit road.
He had been struggling, Steve. He restarted 14th. He had fallen back to 19th. So the car was not as good as it was before the end of that stage.
Dave's there, take it away.
But as you know, he's a wealthy man with that extra set of tires. So they are going to put on this set of tires here to start stage number 2. He said the car is way too free to run up in the high line, so he wasn't able to do that. And by the way, I looked at the set of tires that came off of his car after the full stage run, and the team showed them to me. They pointed them out. They said they look really good. So Ryan's doing a good job of maintaining the Goodyear rubber on his car.
So let's go a little further back, but massive progress to the driver of the 22 Shell Ford for Team Penske, Joey Logano. He started last for just the 4th time in his career. Where is Joey now? He runs in 12th.
Yeah, what a great comeback by this team. This is what we've been expecting and hoping with these tires, is it would present this opportunity for passing, and we're seeing it tonight. This is what happened in practice. They took off early and they were slow. They feel like they had a tire going down the entire time. Finally, it failed. Contact, a ton of work they had to do to get this car ready.
Yeah, I talked to Paul Wolf about it. All the right front suspension.
He knew that it was going to be hard work, but he's made a very productive run. We'll see where Joey can go tonight. Back at Richmond under the lights, and Bubba Wallace continues to lead the way, but there has been a change while we were away, and that changes for second place because his teammate Tyler Reddick has got Christopher Bell. Let's go for a ride with Reddick now, with thanks to Xfinity Mobile.
Okay. Watch these guys, like I said, cycle in full swing here. Not sure when the 51 will pit, just don't run over them.
Marty.
Chris Buescher on pit road, so this is more in the cycle of those who will stop twice here in stage 2. I think this is going to open a massive window for everyone to come down pit road. Just a little bit too free for Chris Buescher, Kim.
And Austin Dillon reporting he likes his car. No major changes or adjustments. They did have a slight right rear hiccup on the last stop, looking for a better stop this time. Joey Logano finishing up his service on the car. He said tight center, still free off.
Chase Elliott on pit road. They too kind of coming in this window to pit twice here in stage 2. Remember, they still would have the advantage if they did that with another set of tires. Alan Gustin leaving and telling to leave pit road now. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin coming down pit road. Terrific progress for Hamlin at the very end of that run. The strength of the 11 car is exactly what Chris Gale said on the longer run, and a much cleaner stop for the 11 bunch this time.
Bubba Wallace on the top is the leader currently, but this guy, Ryan Preece, because of that early pit stop, is going to have a huge advantage. He had the newest tires early, and I'm just telling you, watch this 60. New tires feel good, Jeff. You said it's the best thing for a race car driver, but it's like driving through chaos right here as you look ahead, they're 2 and 3 wide in the middle of 1 and 2.
Exact opposite of what he had in the first stage where everybody was going by him. Now he gets to pass people, Dave.
For Goodyear Tires, Sunoco Fuel for Shane Van Gisbergen and SVG, learning the short ovals, getting better. 4 tires here to send him back on his way. More lateral grip needed. You see also Eric Jones coming off in the 43 car. His car was pitting there, and Tyler Reddick was going to pit, but they said, you're right near him, so don't pit now. The 43 is in. Come out for one more lap. Here comes Reddick after that. Reddick said he needs to find a little better way through 3 and 4. If he can clean that up, then they'll be ready to go. The crew goes to work here, Marty.
Brad Keselowski coming down pit road. Austin Cindric pitting right behind him. Keselowski was really good on the long run. And he told Jeremy Bowens, he said, listen, I'm managing it as best I can, but I'm way over-rotating the entry and the exit of the corner. And a little bit longer stop there for the 6s. Also, you saw Cindric flash by him as well, who was running in the top 5, Dave.
Loose off 2, loose off 3. I guess the 8 is still loose. They'll make more adjustments for Kyle Busch, who's won here so many times. He had that good feeling yesterday in practice, wasn't able to convert it yet. We'll see what happens.
I will tell you, as long as the 23's running, I'm wondering if he's not thinking about trying to eliminate a green flag stop here to save a set of tires. We saw how just painful that can be, Kim.
Yeah, for Ryan Blaney, felt like it went a little free all the way through the corner during the last run. This run, the front chattered just a little bit, needs more grip everywhere.
You may have noticed during that flurry of stops as the race leader, Bubba Wallace, comes in, Ryan Preece was able to unlap himself, and he now runs in 4th place. Kim?
Bubba Wallace, to the attention of his crew, he said the car is neutral, but he said, find me something for the center. I needed to cut better. More fresh Goodyear Tires, Sunoco Fuel, Marty.
Kim, bottom of your screen, William Byron. I'll tell you what was so impressive about their run was the end of the run speed. In fact, Rudy Fugle told him at one point, you've been the fastest car for 5 straight laps. Keep it up. So Fugle making that call to kind of run longer here in stage 2. Kyle Busch coming down pit road as well.
Yeah, too fast entering. Kyle Busch was on pit road a few laps ago. Speeding on pit road under green flag. It's a pass-through penalty. Got to go all the way down pit road with no stop.
It has not been a fun night for the 6-time winner, and look who is at the front.
That early pit stop, that's how big of an advantage it is. He went from basically the back of the pack to the front of the pack with about 15 lap fresher tires. Now you see the 3 of Austin Dillon. He's going to pass the 60 right here, probably has a little bit fresher tires, but remember this, Preece was 13 seconds back of the leader. Came to pit road on the early side, he made up 13 seconds. It's just unprecedented tire fall off. People want a tire fall off, but we have it tonight.
Here's the negative to that. He pitted early, but here's the 3 of Austin Dillon, pitted about 10 laps after he did, so he has much fresher tires, easily passes.
Look at that, gone. Remember what he told our Dave Burns in the pre-race show, Austin Dillon. He feels good. He got that controversial win here a year ago, only to have his playoff berth taken away and points penalty, etc. But the driver of the 3 feels he can duplicate that win here tonight. We'll see. So much longer to go, and look at this traffic.
Bell was running so well at the end of that stage, and just look how this has cycled. Look at the mess in front of this 20. All really per position. The 71, the 2, the 48, the 5, all per 3 wide, working on 4 wide. Yep, there you go, 4 wide.
There you go. Todd Gilliland down on the low side. Ty Gibbs was stuck in the middle. Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman was there. Justin Haley's having a decent night. He's trying to work his way through.
Old Ty Gibbs, he was just hoping not to get run over out there on old tires. Look at this racing.
So the order is Austin Dillon. Daniel Suarez now has got by Preece. So too is Tyler Reddick and Joey Logano. Again, that's Logano from 38th and last to 4th place. What an incredible run for the driver of the 22. Then Bubba Wallace, then Ryan Preece, Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson, Austin Cindric, and Christopher Bell on screen in that yellow number 20 in the top 10. What a night here in Richmond. We knew it was going to be frantic. This has been awesome. The tire fall off is giving us some phenomenal racing. 89 laps to go in the second stage here in the Cookout 400 at Richmond Raceway under the lights. Welcome back, Lee Diffie, Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton. We have got the 23-11 duo back in the top 2 positions in this race. Tyler Reddick leads teammate Bubba Wallace. Austin Dillon has slipped to 3rd.
Tons of strategy, people pitting early, people pitting later, but for sure, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, those two all day, all night long have been up front.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it now, there's a few differences, 13 to 20, right? But other than Priest, way down in 17th, the rest I'm going to call is kind of in the noise, right? They're all on the same strategy. So I agree with you, Jeff. I think Dillon has a really great car. Both 2311 Toyotas have shown up. Don't sleep on Joey Logano, who's gone from back to 5th. Not to mention Penske teammate Cindric right behind him. Penske teammate Blaney right behind him in 5th, 6th, and 7th. Bell, Busch, and Keselowski. The storylines are endless, but I think the running order right now is a pretty good snapshot of who we think has some of the best cars.
Buescher struggled early. He was falling backwards. They've made their race car better. Good job on pit stops. Good job on strategy and making adjustments. They've gotten themselves back in this game.
We have been remiss to give a shout out to the driver of the 5, Kyle Larson. Yes, started 30th, and he has made his way all the way up to 14th. That is good progress in that HendrickCars.com Chevy.
How about right in front of him, the 11 of Hamlin, up 23 spots since that pit road speeding penalty. So a lot of movement through the field.
Is the monster on board from Ty Gibbs looking back at his teammate.
Well, the drivers wanted tires that fell off, and they wanted options. And I believe Goodyear's delivered, and I think that better cars can move through the field. You know, I think cars like Denny Hamlin has driven, without a lot of tricks, driven his way inside the top 15.
Yeah, you mentioned Goodyear. I just got to applaud the amount of effort that they have put in over the last 18 months to just continual push and come up with new technology that we never thought we would need in this racing. But the tires, the rubber on these tires are as soft as we have ever had in NASCAR racing. It is wild how soft they are. They have done a great job of listening to the industry, of working with the industry to create this type of racing. I want to applaud them.
You may remember last year here at Richmond, there was an option tire. The right side tires here tonight is that option tire from last year. Left sides are a little bit harder. Let's get some updates from the pits. We kick it off with Dave Burns. Dave-O?
Tyler Reddick looking good right now. Talked to crew chief Billy Scott about his technique at this track. He said he used to be a guy that charged so hard into the corners he would never get the center right. But a couple of years ago, Tyler Reddick fixed that. Guess what else that does? That helps save your tires if you roll the center very nicely. He's done it so far here tonight. He leads, Kim.
Joey Logano running 5th after starting from the rear, and crew chief Paul Wolf was very honest with me and said we had a lot of questions that were unanswered in practice due to the tire failure. We actually went back on adjustments to closer what we had in this race last year, but he was firm in telling me Joey does a good job of running the long run here. We are very confident in his ability. Right now, half a number tight to fire off. Coleman Presley reiterating to his driver, long run mentality here, Joey. Marty.
Kim, a moment ago, Jeff mentioned Chris Buescher. He was in the top 10 at that point. They have indeed made the car better, but this is the penalty of pitting on the early side of a pit window. They pitted like 5 or 6 laps before everyone else, Dave, and he's paying the price right now. The car is better for Buescher, but he's losing spots on those older tires.
The price that Ryan Preece is paying, he knew he was going to pay. He has the best pit stall, and he has more tires at this point, fresh tires to use, than the rest of the field. So they'll take another set here. Crew calmly going about their work. He knows he'll be out in the mix when he gets out of here. And Steve, I guess you just have to wait for it to rotate back around to you.
Yeah, you just got to let it cycle. I would say I feel like that cycle was a net loss. He was 13 before the last pit stop. He was 15 before this pit stop. I would have expected him to cycle the other way. So, you know, we'll wait and see. Like I told you, what's the variable diff is traffic. Maybe he got caught up in traffic. 2 seconds can go by in a blink of an eye.
I know we've said it multiple times, but I want to re-emphasize how fast this 22 car is.
Oh, yeah.
He pitted on lap 123, the same as Austin Dillon. Ryan Blaney behind him, 129. So Blaney with much fresher tires. Logano able to hold position. Keep your eye on this 22. If they can keep up with the racetrack changes, they will contend to win this race.
You said traffic, Steve. Here it is. Look at this. This is classic Saturday night short track
Right
racing.
here. Blaney's 2 back to you.
So you hear that radio? I think that's interesting because that's a spot right there. So think about the chaos, right? We haven't had a lot of yellows to reset this. We've watched the pit cycle now a couple times. Jeff, I can't imagine, like, behind the wheel, who's on what tires, who am I racing? Is this for position? Should I expect them to race me harder? Like, what kind of information can I help you with?
Only thing I need is somebody behind me on much fresher tire, right? Because I'm in the middle of this battle. I'm trying to stay abreast to what's in front of me. If somebody's coming behind me 3 seconds faster, they're going to get there before I ever know it. So I need to know that. But the rest of it is just focus ahead.
Think about how frustrating this is for AJ Allmendinger in the 16 right there. Had his best qualifying of the year, was running as high as second. That first pit stop, there was a car interference penalty. That put him back down a lap, and he still remains a lap down.
I just want to take a little snapshot. 5 seconds from Logano to Reddick, about 4.4 to Wallace if you do the math. Blaney right behind him. I have about 13-ish to 15-ish until we see these guys pit again. Let's just see in that 15-lap window if Logano can take some of that lead that the 2311 Toyotas have built up.
Let's give a shout out to a guy who's enjoying the rides that he has left in his Trackhouse Chevrolet, and that's Daniel Suarez. Suarez in the 99 runs in 6th place. Again, reiterating that a top 10 performance last week. Really good for him and his teammates. And this Quaker State Chevy has been in the mix pretty much, Jeff, all night long.
Yeah, he talked about the challenges leaving this team next year, trying to keep everybody focused. Justin Marks, the car owner, has talked about Daniel's commitment and also Justin's commitment to end this relationship strong. He talked about how much respect he has for Daniel Suarez and how much Daniel has for Justin. So you love to see a team staying together even though they've announced a change.
Look at this. This is good stuff on the outside of Cindric. They're trying to get by Austin Dillon. Dillon got a little loose there. Cindric has the inside option. Here's the monster view from Ty Gibbs. And now Cindric's easily cleared. It's 3 wide with Suarez trying to get the advantage, but Gibbs is there making life extra difficult for him with Austin Dillon. Oh, Dillon is getting shoved a little bit. Finally able to do it. So new order is Reddick, Wallace, Blaney, Logano, Cindric, Suarez, Dillon, then Christopher Bell, then Chase Briscoe, who's just quietly sneaking his way forward in the top 10 in 9th, then William Byron and Denny Hamlin. For all of the issues earlier in this race, the driver of the 11, the Virginia native, is in 11th place. You saw it in non-stop at home or wherever you're watching our coverage tonight. There's been a change at the front again. It's Bubba Wallace in the 23 back at the front. Let's go for another ride with his teammate. Have a listen, and then Jeff's going to tell you exactly what Tyler Reddick's doing.
One of the massive challenges at this racetrack with this many laps on tires is maintaining the rear grip. You want to go, just jump on that throttle, go wide open quickly, but you can't do it. If you do it, you're going to kill the rear tires, burn them right off the car. Watch the exit of turn 4. You can spin the tires all the way to the start-finish line, barely in the gas. He's on the straight, and he still, start-finish line, cannot go wide open throttle. He is managing these rear tires. This racetrack, it demands a lot from a driver to find a way to carry speed, roll the center, make the car turn, but then how do you modulate the rear spin? It's all throttle. Look, partial throttle, half throttle, three-quarter throttle, never, just right at the very end,
yeah.
He's wide open throttle. That is how challenging this racetrack is.
Penske teammates side by side for 4th. Blaney is up to 3rd. The other Penske car, Logano, who did come a little bit early. He's trying to nurse those tires. Cindric making it work as he's battling the 22. These two running side by side, late in a run on slippery tires, trying to show respect, but also trying to, everything you just said about Reddick, that's what Cindric is trying to do now on the inside of Joey Logano, like so gingerly go to that power.
I know they're teammates, but this is one of the most difficult passes in all of NASCAR. Getting by that 22. Joey Logano is a master at making it hard to get by him. He'll be respectful, but he ain't gonna give it to you.
Well, when you look at Joey's signature and all the Racing Insights rankings, defense is the highest one he has. He is Mr. Defense. 3 wide. We're going to split the 41. Here comes Priest on those new tires. Remember, he's on a little bit of different pit cycle. He's going to try to just get left. Look how much more grip those new tires provide for that blue car for Priest.
Wow, look at that. And he's doing what he did before as he'll climb his way through this field. At the moment, Ryan Priest is back in 27th, but he's running in the high 24-second range compared to everybody else in the 25s, mid 25 seconds per lap.
All right, take a look for your driver in the pylon, because in the next 4 or 5 laps, pit road is going to be chaos, and we're going to see where everybody goes. I look over there, and instantly I see Hamlin up to 8th, Byron and Briscoe right here in 10th and 11th. Right behind them, Keselowski, Barry, Larson, SVG a good run, Jones, Bowman, Zane Smith, Chase Elliott from that penalty. There's kind of, you're inside your top 20. Get that mental snapshot, because this pit cycle will jumble it up. And it's hard, Diff, to figure out who's good and bad in these cycles, because at this short track, it really just kind of happens so quickly. And on cue, here it comes. Bowman on pit road being chased behind by the one of Chastain. Dave.
Alex Bowman will get new tires and fuel. The car took off well, the driver said. Now tight at the 2/3 mark, and it's worse along the straightaway. Chris Buescher also in.
Yeah, Buescher on pit road, Dave, pitting on the early side of the cycle once again. So 56 to go here in stage 2. Going to be a long run for Buescher, who's had a good car on the early part of the run, but struggled with the late run, Dave.
Daniel Suarez now brings the Quaker State car to pit road, and it was very consistent. They asked him to keep that consistency up. It helps them run longer when they know that the tires are going to stay on the car.
Be interested to see if that 99's right rear look good. You don't love to see the wheel gun still engaged when the jack drops. We'll keep an eye on that. Here comes the 3 of Dillon, Kim.
Yeah, last year's winner had been neutral early in the race, finally complaining of a little bit of a tight condition. Air pressure adjusted to try and free him up just slightly, Marty.
Jeremy Bullins told Brad Keselowski, we're going to pit on the early side of this window because clearly we've lost a little bit of speed. And then Keselowski came back and said, we've also not gained on the exit drive at all. We need to make a big swing at that, Kim.
As Joey Logano comes down to make his stop, he complained this time about the right rear falling off during that run. So just looking for a little bit more longevity. On the flip side of that, the 21 of Josh Berry saying he was plowing tight. tight, Marty.
Bit of a frustrating run for William Byron. As you see, pit road pretty busy right now. Byron at one point said, the car just not doing what he wants, especially in traffic. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott still trying to get his track position back after that penalty on the early stop of the day. Car's been a little bit too free for Chase Elliott. And yes, Denny Hamlin back in the game. Austin Cindric also running in the top 5. He comes down pit road, but as we mentioned, Hamlin back in the game in the top 10. But another long stop for the 11 team. They've had a second one here, Dave. This one's going to cost them as well. You see the team frustrated as Hamlin leaves pit road.
Tyler Reddick now hits his marks. He's hoping for a little bit better, but he's hoping for better tires as well. These were scuffed tires. That's one of the reasons why his car was wrecking loose. He couldn't get into the corner anywhere near the bottom, Marty.
Been a quiet but very productive night as you see Bubba Wallace on pit road for Chase Briscoe. Their car very good for Briscoe. They've been so good, especially on the long runs, Kim.
Bubba Wallace leaving on the jack there. Still no major complaints, just a little tight in the center, needs to cut better.
Just can't help but think about that stop from Hamlin and the 11 team. It was 5 seconds slower and more costly than some of the others around him. Let's have another look at it.
Yeah, let's see exactly what happens. I think it was on the left side mostly. Comes around, right side was good, left side up. Oh, an issue basically the left front just won't come loose. The gun is engaged. You see, I don't know if the trigger was swapped and he was tightening it instead of loosening it, or it just was really, really tight and didn't want to get loose. And look at this right here, SVG.
Oh, no.
And the 47 of Stenhouse, a little bit of contact. Not bad, though. Good job by both drivers to get through. And oh, my goodness. Reddick.
What has happened to a guy that has led 41 laps in this race?
And that caution comes where some people have not pitted yet. This will shake the field up even more than it already is.
Namely, Kyle Larson's the big winner because he had yet to come to pit road. But
Really
man,
bad.
what happened to Reddick, Diff?
Let's have a look. There goes Ryan Preece. Oh, behind him. Behind him. Ty Gibbs tags him. Ty Gibbs was wrestling with Daniel Suarez and tags Tyler Reddick.
I think that wrestling match is what caused it. So, well, you watch this 54. I think this is, he's trying to knock left. You see that right front tire on the 54? He gets run over by the 99. The 54 basically is getting shipped by the 99 up into poor Reddick, who was just trying to go on by. Watch this right here. That was a little late. The contact's already happened. If we could see that one back a little bit earlier, the 99 shoves the 54 into the 45. Man, what a great car for the 45. There you go, top right of your screen. Right, Jeff? Doesn't that look like absolute contact between the 99 and the 54?
It's hard to tell from that angle, to be quite honest with you, but as loose as the 54 got, it's hard to imagine there wasn't some contact, but it's not clear that there was.
And look who got a perfect view of that, Logano, right there. Here's what it looked like for Joey.
It's not as big of a window. Stay down, 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 down.
He doesn't. Tyler Reddick doesn't care. All he knows is he got wrecked.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't. He's going to be mad at somebody. At the point, it doesn't matter. You mentioned it, though. How about Larson, who had yet to pit? Huge, huge break for Kyle Larson. Also a huge break for Kyle Busch. Last car in the lead lap currently, and he was not having a good night. Maybe this is the break that'll give the 8 a chance. Dave.
Crew communicating back to crew chief, working with NASCAR to be okay as they work on it over the wall here. They went to the right side first and then to the left side. So the leader of 41 laps and the winner of stage 1 in trouble here at Richmond.
Here's the view from Daniel Suarez.
There's contact there for sure. And one thing to note is Ty Gibbs had much older tires than Daniel Suarez did. So Daniel may have just misjudged the speed difference with Ty's older tires and the lack of grip that he had.
And that's when we talk about these strategies and how chaotic that can be. You know, these closing rates are huge, and the 99 knows he's stuck behind the 54. And if the 45's not out there, he just moves the 54 out of the way and goes by.
About 40 lap older tires on Ty Gibbs' car right there, so you know he's way slower than Suarez.
And we
Here comes Kyle Larson. Kim's there.
Yeah, he said too tight in the center. I think it's hurting my long run. Cliff Daniels, the crew chief, saying we're going to give you an air pressure adjustment and another adjustment to free you up. Likely we made the wrong adjustment last time, and that's why you got too tight, Dave.
So Ryan Preece will come down for another set of tires on the 60. The last run, which explains, Steve, I think you were talking about just that he wasn't as good as before. The car was very, very loose, so they've been working on getting that car better. Marty.
So Dave, interesting call here for Scott Graves, trying to do something a little bit different. He brings Chris Buescher down pit road. They did pit just a few moments ago, 12 laps, or actually 11 laps ago. Buescher pitted, so bringing him down here for some fresh Goodyear tires. We'll see what he can do with 46 to go in the stage, Dave.
Kyle Busch said on the last run it fired off well. Now it was getting loose again. And when they get to the later stages of every run, that 8 car just seems to go way loose on the driver.
Thanks for that, Dave. Let's have another look at what will keep us talking for quite some time. And you feel for Tyler Reddick, wrong place, wrong time. Still under caution here at Richmond in the Cookout 400. And so much has happened so far, Marty, and we're not even halfway yet.
Boy, for Denny Hamlin, another bad pit stop. This one not as costly. He will restart 13th. Here's what happened on pit road. They said that the left front was over-tightened. Steve, I want you to explain that in just a moment. It took a few tries to get that left front off. Here's what Hamlin said after that stop.
Our car is exceptional. We can execute.
Our car is exceptional, Steve. If you can just help me out on pit road and just execute, that's all I need.
Yeah, these single lugs, you know, you want to have them tight, but if you stay on them too long, the aluminum can expand with brake temperature. They can over tighten. They don't want to come off.
Let's get ready. It's time to bring the action here in Richmond. Let's get back to racing. Bubba Wallace leads the field of green. Daniel Suarez on his flank. Then you got the Penske guys. Low side Logano, Blaney the high side. Way up high is Ross Chastain, making it 4 wide.
4 wide and crazy, beating, banging Byron Bell.
And Keselowski. Here comes Preece in the blue and white 60.
You see on the left, Preece, Larson, fresh tires, so the blue and white car all the way top of 4 wide. Look at that, the white roof, bright blue car. Preece using these Goodyears.
That's going to advantage William Byron. He had a great run on the low side. And it's Christopher Bell in the middle. They're relentless. They are reluctant to give up their track position. This is awesome. And Tracer's trying to find an opportunity. Jeff's just opened the door somewhere for me. Try and let me by.
Nowhere to go. It's not something he expected coming into this race. 3 wide at Richmond. What he's got to try to do is just carry enough speed on the exit of turn 4.
Oh.
Cody Ware.
And now this is getting to that point. Remember, every driver in pre-race talked about how many sets of tires they have. This isn't a new allotment. 8 sets has been the standard, but these tires lose grip quicker. They fall off quicker, so you would like to have more. They don't. They are brought the same amount. They've put it back in the team's hands on how to manage those 8 sets. In my day, Diff, this would be brand new Goodyears. I wouldn't have to worry about it. In today's racing of only 8 sets, all of these teams knew it coming in and they have to manage it. So it'll be interesting to see if everybody thinks they need to get tires here with 39 to go.
First car 1 lap down was SVG. We saw the trouble he had on pit road. That cost him a lot of spots. He's been running the top 17 most of the night. This will get him back in the lead lap. Let's see what happened to Cody in the back of the pack. We saw that 3 wide action, 4 wide action. They seemed to make it work, but did not work back here.
I think you maybe got a little help from John Hunter Nemechek here.
I would agree.
Here's Reddick's view.
Yeah, Reddick's like, not again. What a bad break for he and this team.
Man.
Think about the night for this team. Bubba's led 81 laps. Tyler's led 41 laps. That is a super productive night thus far for 23-11.
Pit road open, no taker so far. I have a hard time thinking you can pit here. I think it really depends on kind of where you're at on your allotment, but you see first car way back in the field. Looks like the 43 of Jones trying to probably do something that just kind of changed the chance of the day. He was running 22nd. 9 of Chase Elliott also come to pit road. He was 24th. Reddick also, I'm sure he's going to continue to work on his car after that wreck earlier.
Carson Hocevar is coming in as well in the 77, but here's Chase Elliott, Marty.
Yeah, here's a couple of teams, Lee, that do have that extra set of tires that did not pit in stage 1. Chase Elliott and Carson Hocevar among them. You see the Elliott team having a little bit of trouble with that right rear. So Alan Gustafson making that call to bring his driver down pit road, Dave, seeing if they can gain this track position back before the end of the stage.
You see Eric Jones on and off of pit road, and meanwhile the 45 of Tyler Reddick comes back in for the little things that you can do to that race car. Steve and Jeff, if you get it perfect, driver can drive it again. If it's just a little bit off in areas you could have fixed, you'd be sorry about that.
Yeah, this is a great view. You see this crew member right here. What he's doing is sealing the hood to those hood vents. That seal around there is a big downforce generator. You don't want to leak air. Doesn't look pretty, but it's, you know, doesn't look too bad for a short track car.
As we fast approach the halfway mark of the Cookout 400. When we come back, we'll go back to racing. While we still are under caution, want to remind you that we will have a post-race show as we do each and every week. We're back to racing here in Richmond. Bubba Wallace leads the field. Look at Ryan Preece right around the outside in that blue and white RFK Ford. He tried it earlier and then eventually got blocked, but he made up positions there. Stretching their legs down the back to turn 3. Again, 3, 4, 5 wide.
Alex Bowman in that 48, Kyle Larson in the 5. They also have a tire advantage.
Larson on the inside. There goes Kyle Busch up high in the 8. Larson sneaks his way through a little bit. He was a benefactor of that caution. There's contact between Brad Keselowski, and around goes Chase Briscoe. Into him goes Kyle Busch. And there's a traffic jam, and Hamlin was in it. Elliott gets tagged later on around through turn 4.
Bowman was in it as well.
We got right reared after the wreck.
I'm sorry, that wasn't Bowman. That was a 24. Byron.
Past it, huh?
Justin Haley.
Justin was in position to take advantage potentially late in the race. He was the only one that had saved the set of tires, and now he's damaged.
A lot happened. There was a wreck at the end of the backstretch that kind of kept going.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot to unpack. You see a lot of damaged cars.
That's it for Chase Elliott. AMR safety team on the spot, super quick as they always are. But what happened to the 9? We didn't really get a good view of that.
Yeah, so that 19 middle left, he comes off from the corner behind Kyle Larson. Busch and Chastain hit. That gets some smoke coming from Keselowski. Briscoe goes down right at the bottom of your screen. He gets turned by Busch. So there's kind of the start of the wreck. The 19 of Briscoe now spinning. Now look at all these cars wrecking right here. What I don't understand is where Chase Elliott comes from.
Because he's up the track more.
No, he's right here.
There he is there.
Oh, right there. Right reared by accident by Kyle Busch, who has no idea the 9's coming through there. Nothing nefarious, but that's what gets the 9 back across the racetrack, because the 9 is way back in the middle of this mess.
He's right behind Justin Haley.
Yep, so watch the 19 spin, and now the 88 makes heavy contact with him. The 6 comes going in here, so if we just keep watching this accident, 21 goes by, 71, 77, here comes the 7, and right there, out of the screen left was the 9 to Chase Elliott. That's why we didn't see it the first go.
Here's the Busch on board.
And then watch. He just doesn't, you know, he's coming left, the 9's coming through.
Here you go. This is the start of it. Watch the 8 car way up the racetrack, and then he and the 1 converge right here. That's where it all starts. And then Kyle Busch into the back of the 19, who was trying to get underneath the 5, and then just all these guys nowhere to go.
I agree with you, Jeff. I think the 19 was looking inside the 5. The 5 blocked a little, which checks the 19 up, and then the 8 kind of hits it from behind.
Watch this, riding along with Brad. Tons of contact.
That was Ty Gibbs' view.
Oh, look, there's a great look at that 9. Oh. What a hit.
It was a big hit.
So here you go, right? I mean, the 8's got damaged. The nose is smashed. And he gets right into the 9.
And Chase Elliott has completed all but 1 lap this year. That incredible streak will come to an end.
Here's Elliott's view.
Yeah, this is going to hurt.
He looked like, I'm telling you, from Chase Elliott's point of view,
he's like, I'm
done. I got through it. There's some contact, but we're okay. Everything's going to be fine. Right here, he thinks he's in great shape. Then he and the 8, they make contact in the right rear, and around he goes.
So the 9, you know, when we kind of had a pause there, the 38 was to his left. The 9, to your point, he thinks he's by the 8, right? He's gassing up. The 8 probably has no idea the 9's coming. You know, there's a lot going on right there.
what a wreck. Look how many cars are involved in this.
Oh, man, what a tough night for the 9. Talked to Alan this week. It was really hard to believe, to think that he's never won here as a crew chief. Alan Gustafson's had some of the greatest drivers and won what seems like about anywhere, but he's yet to be able to pull it off, and tonight won't be the night.
2 of the 4 Hendrick drivers were involved in that. Let's have a listen to some radio.
What the f are we doing out here? People are saying.
I don't know. The 9 went in there like a rocket. He's the one that got us, so he's out. He's done.
Yeah, just racing like f***ing idiots.
There's a lot of frustration out there. That last radio. There was one lucky driver, the 5. Look at Larson. He was right ahead of it and just kind of eased away from the chaos here under the lights in Richmond. 12 cars involved in that one. These fans packing Richmond Raceway have been treated to just classic Saturday night short track racing so far. Yeah, there's been some heated tempers out there. There's been some tough racing, some good strategy, just an interesting night. And for the fans here in Richmond, Virginia, thanks for turning up in droves for a pretty fun night. We're only halfway, but unfortunately someone who won't see that second half is Chase Elliott. Kim?
Yeah, the good news is Chase Elliott is okay. Walk us through what happened or what you know from your seat as you watch the replay.
I have no idea what happened still. You know, obviously I saw him crashing and we were all, you know, just stacking up trying to get stopped. And then after the wreck was over, I thought we were done wrecking. And yeah, I was just trying to squeak by and I guess somebody didn't know I was down there. Yeah, I guess Kyle just didn't know I was to the left, and we were whoever was next to me and myself were trying to kind of get by the the accident. So we were coming through there at a decent rate, and unfortunately, yeah, Kyle just didn't know that we were on the bottom. So hate that. Had a good start to the night, and yeah, just slowly unraveled until it finally fell apart. So hopefully we can get on a better stretch starting next week.
Unfortunate end to the night for Chase Elliott. Marks his first DNF of the 2025 season.
I think his bewilderment kind of tells a little of the story, Jeff.
Well, I think that goes all the way around. This wreck starts on the exit of turn 2. Kyle Busch in the black number 8, Ross Chastain in the white number 1. Watch out for turn 2. Kyle Busch, I think not completely against the wall, starts to come down a little bit. Chastain up a little bit. They make contact. Then Kyle Busch tries to get underneath Briscoe, and then Kyle Busch gets in the right rear of Chase Elliott. Watch right here. This is where it all happens. This is the start of it. So I think Kyle is not quite as high up the racetrack as Chastain's expecting. Chastain's coming up the track. They make contact.
I'm not going to steal it, Diff. What was the line? It was an amazing line.
Interaction of factors.
It's an interaction of factors.
You know what I call it? Richmond Saturday night.
Yeah.
Short track racing.
And even Chase, the bewilderment of Chase.
So I'm not going to assign blame by any point between the 8 and the 9. I think that's just wrecking, but I can see how it happens as we take another look at the 8. What I mean is this later version of this. You know, the 8 continues to wreck right here, and look, he's kind of sees nothing, and boom, the 9 shows up. And there was a shot kind of the other way where the 38 is tucking left. So, you know, Chase talked about the car to his left, right? So if we freeze it kind of right here, he is right here. These two cars are door to door, the 9 and the 38. As we roll it forward, the 38 keeps chasing left. The 9 kind of thinks he's through, which makes sense because he doesn't see the 8, you know, and he's kind of coming up the racetrack because the 38's coming up the race. Like, I think that is just an accident. You saw, I mean, Chase Elliott is an amazing race car driver, and he was lost until he saw the replay and exactly how he got hooked.
The difference in speed, I think, played a factor there, too, because the 9 was so much faster than the 8. And I just don't think that Kyle Busch, who's in the middle of a wreck, right, he's not exactly looking at his left side mirror to see a car coming 30 miles an hour faster.
Diff, you've done it. You know, when you go by a guy on the interstate and you go by him so quick, you don't even really check your mirror, and then that guy all of a sudden speeds up, you know, and you don't mean to, but you swerve at him because he's over there in your blind spot. I think that's kind of what happened. It just happened at plus about 100 miles an hour.
I don't understand why Kyle Busch is into the back of Briscoe here, though. I mean, I don't. That's all the merging and all that. Like, I don't understand the entrance of turn 3.
Now, look, I think these drivers are hitting each other harder than they ever did with this car. You know, I think you get away with a lot of it, and that time they didn't. Man, this is almost 2 pages worth.
You heard the honest thoughts of a couple of the drivers about the general conduct so far tonight. And look at the names on that list and look at the winners so far this year. This might open up the door in this second half of the Cookout 400 for a new winner. Hey, Dave Burns. Daniel Suarez has 11 races to go after tonight with Trackhouse, and he sits second at the moment. Can you imagine if he could pull off a win?
That'd be something, Liam. What a good time to be running second with all that happening back there. Matt Swiderski is a crew chief. How good is the 99 tonight?
We're pretty good. We need probably one more adjustment, get a little more rear grip for him, but he's pretty happy with it. So we'll keep working out here. All these caution laps are probably helping us a little bit even out the tires. So we'll see where we end up.
All right, go get him.
What I think is a bit, I don't know how the word I'm looking for, a bit comical or a bit shocking is how many cars were in their accident and chose not to pit. Like Kyle Busch is 11th, and he was all up in the wreck, you know, but it just proves that they don't want to give up any positions.
You know, And then we drop in the green flag with only 17 laps to go. Remember, keep your eyes on Ryan Preece in the 60, Alex Bowman in the 48. Then behind them, Larson and Kyle Busch. They all have fresher tires than the guys around them.
2025 Toyota GR Supra pace car. The lights are off. We're going back racing, and when we do, we're going to check in with the 13th place Ross Chastain and his spotter Brandon McReynolds. We'll hear Brandon call him back to green. Here we go. Let's have a listen.
5 away. In the zone, green. All rolling, room in front. Up off y'all back line now. 2 inside. Just one way down there. Inside. Sit down there, bumper, clear. Inside. Door. Still there. Quarter. Even. Still there, door. Room in front.
So while Bubba Wallace has checked out Ryan Blaney on the inside of Daniel Suarez, and a guy who has looked racy all night long is the man who won under controversial circumstances here a year ago, Austin Dillon. There's the 3 right there, ahead of Ryan Preece.
What a story it would be if the 3 could return after what was taken away, the ability to make the playoffs. Because, and I think it was rightfully taken away. I think he crossed the line in that last couple laps with the aggression of having to hit the 22 and the 11. But we talked about it. He had a great car. It was the circumstances that put him in this situation. A bad a bad restart. So imagine coming back, Jeff, and getting it done a year later.
That would feel so good to not only him, but Richard Childress, who was upset at the penalty. He did not agree with it. The car owner, come back and get some redemption would be great for that team.
Keep an eye out for the 48. The Ally Chevy from Hendrick Motorsport and Alex Bowman. He is quietly sitting in 6th place right now. There he is right there. Has run well here before in the past. He's a winner here at Richmond, and he said we've got to keep those positive vibes going heading into the playoffs.
What I think is interesting, Matt Swiderski said that he thought that this caution was going to help even out the tires, and it really has. I thought, you know, you mentioned the 60 of Preece, the 48 of Bowman, who are attacking with the new tires. It's definitely settled the field down.
Logano and Larson.
Watch Carson Hocevar right here trying to follow Larson, thinking Larson's going to get by the 22. There he is. You see Larson did get by Joey. Carson followed him right by.
Here comes the Hurricane. Hocevar in the 77. He's up to 9th.
He actually has less laps on his tires than Larson does. You can see it.
Oh, yeah.
See the advantage.
So that's the race for 8th. Austin Cindric's just up ahead. Larson unwilling to give that up easily. But he has no choice with those fresher tires.
Busch is trying every lane on this racetrack to see if something agrees with that 8 car. 3 wide behind. Bell, Logano, Byron.
Look how high he is, Steve. You a point. That car has got to have some damage.
How is it still out there after everything that it went through?
Well, the 24 also.
It's the same, I know. And both running in the top 11.
But I think that is a little bit of what makes short track racing so special for the fans, is that, you know, the car is so dependent that a little bit of damage to the hood or the ductwork or the lower splitter, you're still able to keep up. You're able to overcome it. Marty, what do you have for that 24 Byron?
Yes, Steve, they were forced to pit road to repair the damage from that contact on the track, but they decided, Rudy Fugle did, to put on a new set of tires here for William Byron. So in essence, that would put them sort of down a set to everybody else. I wonder what move they would make here at the end of the stage. Maybe come down pit road, maybe not take tires. We'll see what Rudy Fugle decides to do, Dave.
And for the aid of Kyle Busch, the big discussion was after that contact on track, do we come down and fix the race car more? Do we put tires on it? Crew Chief Brandon Burnett didn't want to burn a set of tires. He wanted to save tires. Kyle told him the car is warm, but it's always like that under caution, no real damage. You see the front end there, the 8 is damaged, but it's not causing a real problem for him right now, Kim.
And his teammate Austin Dillon running into 4th position. This team has such high hopes for this weekend, and they've reiterated what we have said, that last year was absolutely not a fluke that they won. However, they still wanted to come back, defend that win to quiet any naysayers from last year. They were confident about Austin on the long run. He's been relatively quiet, just saying he likes the car on the bottom better.
Keep an eye out for that light blue and white progressive Toyota Camry, because here comes Hamlin. Hamlin cleared Logano, has taken off. He's right there with Busch now, and his JGR teammate Christopher Bell. So despite multiple setbacks on pit road, despite getting caught up in that multi-car, that 12-car wreck, there is no stopping Hamlin. And Hamlin said earlier, Jeff, on the radio, this car is superb if we can just execute.
Well, his pit crew is the 6th best pit crew in rankings in the year. But 2 bad stops so far this race, and Denny Hamlin was frustrated. I don't blame him. Also had a speed though.
Yeah.
Can't blame the crew on that.
Well, the good news for them is this last stage is going to be 170 laps, so they're going to get at least 2, if not 3 pit stops. How about Bubba Wallace?
1 to go in this second stage, and this last lap presented by Credit One Bank.
We talked about it in the pre-race. Marty Snyder asked about momentum. Jeff, you threw a bunch of names out, and I agreed with him, but Bubba Wallace in the 23, I just thought he looked relaxed, being locked in. He's never been locked in this early into the playoffs. Making it work, Diff.
And also back in 5th place, Alex Bowman. He is going to get stage points. Remember, he and Chris Buescher are in a point battle trying to make the playoffs. Buescher, no stage points. Bowman 5.
And Ryan Preece, some good points there as well. Well done to Bubba Wallace. He wins the second stage. Stage 1 was quite rhythmic. Stage 2, pure chaos. Under the lights here in Richmond. Exciting careers are available now nationwide, ensuring the U.S. Navy has its next generation of submarines. If you're looking for a stable, impactful career, visit buildsubmarines.com. We build giants because it takes one to build one. And the buildsubmarines.com Ford for Brad Keselowski. Hoping for something special tonight here in Richmond so he could get himself to the playoffs. It's been a much better second half of the year for Keselowski than the way 2025 started, and pit road is about to get super busy. Kim Coon's going to kick us off.
Now, Ryan Blaney, top of your screen, tight in the middle, but he said we're going in the right direction. I still need more turn. They'll try and free him up just a little bit. Bubba Wallace there in the middle of your screen. Quiet on the radio. That car, great and clean air, Dave.
Kim, the key for Daniel Suarez here is to get 4 fresh tires and fuel stop a little bit short because Kyle Busch came right around him pitting. He'll need a clean way out. Needs a little bit more rear grip on this 99 as he gets out of here.
Good clean stops, race off pit road, and the third and final stage coming up here in Richmond. Gearing up, getting ready for the third and final stage here at Richmond Raceway in the Cookout 400. Generally been a positive night for Christopher Bell and the 20 team until this point here, Jeff.
Came on pit road running 11th. We've seen many troubles on pit road. It continued.
Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Back up, back up.
You hear the crew chief saying, hey, we do not have this left front tire tight on the race car. Back it up, don't go on the racetrack. But he has lost, that was a good call, but he has lost all of this track position.
All right, here we are. Final stage, 163 laps to go currently. I'm going to say most of the leaders have 3 sets of tires left. There are a few exceptions. Math, I've tried to ignore it, but it seems to always win. Math would say 3 pit stops is nearly 10 seconds faster. So that would say you put a set here, you put a set here, you put a set here. What does that do? That gives you this big chunk of racing where if you get a yellow, you are sitting with no tires and you are in big trouble. So if you have to win the race and you don't have car enough, the gamble would be to put a set on here and a set on here. You are going to lose time. You're going to lose positions. But if you get a caution right here, it is bingo. Come and take your last set of brand new tires. That gamble could be the difference of winning and advancing in the playoffs.
Who's going to gamble that? Who's going to play that? And that question will be answered once we get this going, once we have a feel for the third stage.
A little bit of a gamble at the front of the field. The 71 car, Michael McDowell, he put on 2 tires. He is leading this race with 2 tires. We have seen how abrasive this racetrack is and how hard it is on tires. They are hoping that the right side tires will take advantage of that, because most of the wear, you know, is on the right. He is the only one out there on 2 tires, Dave.
Jeff, they went from 17th to 1st. Now, we've seen these mistakes on pit road all night long, and it is hard to go over the wall. So I tried to do it this week thanks to the Legacy Motor Club and Josh Leslie, the rear tire changer for Eric Jones. They showed me how to do it, but I got it wrong time after time, because you have to have the gun right. You have to be spaced away from the car just right. And when that wheel nut goes flying like it did many times for me, you had better have a spare. But it is not easy. You got to get up, go around, do it again. They taught me how to do it so I could cut my time in half. But guys, don't think just because they make it look so easy that it is. It's not. It's tough on pit road.
Well done, Davo. So that's the jack. That's changing wheels. What's next?
What's next is Dave's wife checking his insurance policy.
And don't hand me a full fuel load, please.
Oh, yeah.
All right, a little bit of fun there with a serious tone. Dave just showing that it's nowhere near as easy as it looks, and nor is this third and final stage going to be, as Michael McDowell leads the field back to green here in Richmond with Bubba Wallace on his outside, Austin Dillon looking on the inside, and here comes Ryan Blaney. Larson in that blue and white 5 up high. What a night it's been for Bubba Wallace as he rounds McDowell up. And McDowell's got Dillon on the inside. Look at this, Austin Dillon down low, goes by 2 of them, straight to the lead.
McDowell and Bubba Wallace made contact on the entrance of 1. That opened the door for Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon is coming up to lead his 7th lap tonight. He has not led that many laps in a race since where, Jeff? Here last year.
It's just amazes to, you know, it's amazing to me, and I understand it. Jeff, as a driver, you get a feel, and as a setup, and it just, you know, I just don't see it normally working a year later. A different tire combination, so many changes. Yet for the 3, it seems to be working. I can't tell you it's the same setup, but whatever they had, they have continued it a year later.
Do it again next year. He's proven to me he knows the feel that he's looking for.
So much on the line, and I mentioned how you're going to run this race. Not only do you have to decide when to pit, but as a driver, everyone's done a nice job. But Jeff, in our pace car ride, you showed me and Diff how easy it was to miss that orange box on the left, right? Getting off pit road here is anything but easy. We've seen speeding penalties. We've seen challenges for pit road, pit stops themselves. So a lot of execution required in these last 155 laps.
Tell you what, look at the move from Hocevar. Hocevar's up to 4th really swiftly. There he is there in that Delaware Life 77 for Spire Motorsports.
We mentioned several drivers before the race that have not won this year, that if they do, it completely upsets the playoffs. We did not mention Carson Hocevar, but with only 155 laps to go, sitting here running 4th. He, Suarez, Austin Dillon, McDowell, Gibbs now in the top 10.
Little contact between SVG and the 2 of Cindric. How about Bell? Already up 9 spots since that issue you pointed out on pit road, Jeff, having to back up and tighten that wheel.
38 of Zane Smith runs in 13th, just immediately ahead of Austin Cindric. And behind Kyle Larson.
Sorry, Diff, I was going to say Josh Berry right there in that blue 21. We haven't said his name a lot tonight, but doing a really nice job, kind of hanging around right there. I think, what is he, running 8th, right there inside the top 10.
Picked up 5 spots on that restart. He was on the bottom. Several guys got tangled up in the middle of 3 and 4. He was able to get by them.
And for everything that Ty Gibbs has had happen to him tonight, Gibbs is running nicely in the top 10 in 9th place in that Sirius XM Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing.
See McDowell's dropped back with this 2-tire strategy.
There. Do not overslip.
But what matters is when all of this stops and pit start again, where was he running? versus where he ends up right here. It looks like he's getting hurt really badly, and he is, but he may actually be in better of a situation than he was if he had not have done these 2 tires. Zane Smith having a good night underneath McDowell in that 38 car.
Despite starting with so much promise, it's turned as appropriately as we ride with RFK Racing's Brad Keselowski with the BuildSubmarines.com car. It's turned for RFK. Keselowski is 17th. Ryan Preece, the pole man who led 60 laps tonight, is back in 23rd, and his teammate Chris Buescher is 24th.
We've said it several times tonight, that white 88 car of SVG. Ovals have been a struggle. I can tell you what, he's not afraid of the outside. Look how high he is.
Well, Jeff, he said yesterday, interestingly, that short tracks are the ovals of his biggest improvement. And he said, I'm a clean sheet. I'm a clean sheet with ovals. I've never been here in a Cup car. I'm just trying to be a sponge and take it all in and learn as much as I can, as quickly as I can.
We saw he had that problem on pit road and actually got a lap down. He's worked himself back up to 14th place.
Look, here he is racing Austin Cindric, a Daytona 500 winner.
Well, and that matters because the guys won 4 races. And the Roval's in the second round of the playoff. Like, let's move the story forward. Like, why are we focusing on the 88? Because he is tied for the most wins, right? 4 wins this year. And we know there is a road course, which isn't a guaranteed win, but he's won the last 4, so he's going to have a really good shot at the Roval. The question is that first round, right? Can he find that consistency? You've mentioned it a couple times over the weekend, Jeff. I didn't think it was possible that this 13th or 14th running position, that would find that 17th you were looking for, that average.
Well, let's have a listen to what SVG has been up to as far as improving on the ovals. What's he been doing?
This week kind of been studying Denny and also Ross the most, you know. Ross's car is probably most similar to how mine's going to be, so trying to just see what they were doing with gears. You can change gear a lot here, and it changes the car balance quite a lot, and I just, try and study those 2 guys. But, you know, different tracks might be different people, whoever stands out, and just try and emulate what they're doing, I guess.
And just after saying that and talking in further detail about what he learned from the SMT data from Denny Hamlin's traces, Denny Hamlin walked into the media center and SVG said, "Thanks, mate. Thanks for helping."
Well, a lot of people have studied Denny Hamlin's driving style, but few have been able to replicate it.
And I think it helps, you know, Suarez is running 5th. I point that out because, you know, in that Trackhouse group, you look at your teammates. Chastain back at 28th, Suarez 5th. So if you're SVG and you're between your teammates, that's going to be a great feel, right? That you're closer, I feel, to the guys that are what I would consider more of a standard oval racer. He has the top rolling, though. I like it.
Good run from Zane Smith, just ahead of him as well in the 38 for Front Row Motorsports.
Well, that poor team just couldn't finish a race there over the summer. Ran well, and it seemed like the last few laps he was kind of the punching bag. He got spun by Bell at Indy, and then a week later got in a wreck and just, you know, couldn't get good runs to the finish. We'll see if the 38 was able to do it here with the 140-ish to go.
So remember this race last year at the end of it, probably the last third of it, we saw this car, Austin Dillon, driving away from the field. By far the best car. He is driven out to 2.5 seconds on Bubba Wallace. 3 seconds to Alex Bowman. Almost 4 seconds to 4th place Carson Hocevar. The speed's there. Can they execute?
What is it about this track and Austin Dillon? And he's trying to repeat a win, but not in controversial circumstances, not like this. He says it was for the win, it was for a spot in the playoffs, I was going to do whatever I had to do. Well, NASCAR let him keep the win, but did not let him go to the playoffs. That's how it ended a year ago. How's it going to end tonight? Austin Dillon has now racked up 31 laps tonight here in Richmond, out in front for Richard Childress Racing. Kim, so far, so good for Austin Dillon.
Yeah, finds himself at the point out front, but it's been a great run the last 3 races for them. They've got top 15 finishes, actually in the last 4 races, after none in the previous 9. And again, they came in with very high hopes. I asked crew chief Richard Boswell, though, outside of win, I know that's what you guys want and need. What are you looking to do? He said the goal is to come and be in position to contend for a win. Both this track and next week at Daytona are places we know we can win. Our head space is exactly in the confidence it needs to be. And for those wondering, this is almost the same setup as last year, just a few modifications for the tire. Austin Dillon, P1.
Well, if you keep in mind that Corlig Racing has a technical alliance with RCR, the RCR cars and the Corlig cars have been finding more speed of late, which is really good. Look at this scrap going on here. Shane Van Gisbergen and Austin Cindric. Look how high SVG goes. And Christopher Bell's in the mix as well. This is for 12th, 13th, and 14th place.
Remember, we saw the issue with the 20 car on pit road.
Lower left box, that's the fight for 5th between Carson Hocevar and Daniel Suarez. Let's talk more about Carson Hocevar with Marty.
Yeah, we saw Ryan Preece try the 3-stop strategy in stage 2 with someone like Carson Hocevar and Luke Lambert, considering it here in stage 3. Listen to the radio.
We're looking at it. There's a small probability he considered 3-stopping here.
Now they may 3-stint.
It should, because I'm slow after 15.
So, Steve, what would you do? You're not going to beat Austin Dillon with what you're doing right now, and Carson does not feel very good about the car on the longer run. So would you consider 3 here at the very end? It would leave you no insurance if there's a late caution.
Well, I think that 3 stops is absolutely faster. If you stop 3 times and the caution doesn't come out, you're going to be in position to win the race. But if the caution does come out, you're probably not going to finish on the lead lap. So the risk is, I think, kind of the risk is worth the gamble. If you're the 77 and you have to win to make the playoffs, and you have Austin Dillon and the 48 and the 99 all in front of you, I would go alternate strategy.
Crew chief Luke Lambert was a crew chief for me for a brief period of time. He is not afraid to try something. He is willing to gamble. This 24 car is pretty amazing. We saw the contact that he had in that large wreck, and I'm surprised, you know, as big of a hit as that was, I'm surprised at the pace that he is able to have.
And keep an eye in the background for in that blue and black 21 for the Wood brothers, Josh Berry. He's kind of been the quiet achiever tonight. Just hanging in there, staying in touch, been in the top 15 pretty much for the majority of the race.
This is his kind of racetrack.
Remember, we had the yellow earlier in the day with the 99 and the 54. Right here, you're going to see it. 54 is on older tires. 99 gets in the back of him, though, sends him up into the 45. So now that kind of ended the opportunity for the 45 of Reddick. He's now 2 laps down, riding around with some damage. So now the 99 is coming up with the race about the 45, and Reddick decides to show his displeasure. Doesn't end the day for the 99, but definitely makes it hard, Jeff.
Yeah, you see him, just gets him way up the racetrack. Doesn't wreck him, but surely lets him know his displeasure.
And it opened up the door for Blaney. Look in the back, watch the 12. Said thanks, easy, bye.
Yeah, and Blaney got by him, and then Suarez has yet to be able to get back by him, so cost him a spot. Made Reddick feel a little better.
Here's Hocevar and Berry. This is the fight for 7th place. That's a nice work from Josh.
Yes, really good night. Remember, this team won early in the year. Since then, it's kind of been tough sledding, not the results that they had early.
John Hunter Nemechek on pit road. Carson Hocevar is struggling now.
77 missed pit road. No, he was coming to pit road. The 42 pitted who was a lap down. This is the lap. The 77 was coming to pit road. Jeff, you talked about it yesterday in the pace car. It's hard to see that pit entry. He jammed on the brakes and was going way too fast. I bet the 77 comes this time. Let's see if he does a better job. Oh, yeah, lifts way early, off the gas, down to the bottom. So the 77 of Hocevar missed pit road. Diff, that's what cost him the extra seconds.
Yeah, Hocevar said that was on me, completely missed it right there trying to get to pit road. Luke Lambert did indeed call him the lap before. He said the car just goes way too loose at the end of the run. So a little bit on the early side. You could parlay this into a 2-stop from here with 120 to go, but that would be a long run for Carson Hocevar, and they do have that third set of tires that they could throw at it if they want to make 3 stops here in stage 3.
Yeah, I love the 3-stop gamble. Like I said, there are cars in front of him that have to win to make the playoffs. He has to win. If you don't get a yellow, 3 stops wins the race. The math is there. Let's take a look, Jeff, at what happened trying to get to pit road.
Yeah, just this orange box, you cannot see it till you get to it, and he just carried too much speed. Now look, he knew it. Watch this. Watch how long it takes before you can see that orange box. Not till now. And that is so far around the corner. You have to lift so much earlier than you think. A great job recognizing that he was just too fast and did try to force it and ultimately could have gotten a penalty.
Race leader Austin Dillon with 118 laps to go boasts the 2.5-second advantage at the track where he made his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut.
Now, which we showed earlier how these cycles work. The 77 at the moment is in that danger zone. He is a lap down to the 3 of Austin Dillon, but look at the closing speed of the 77. He's closing in on the back of Ty Gibbs, so that's about the 10th place car. The leader's about 10 seconds up the road. You see it on the map on the bottom left. It should only take 4 to 6 laps, and Hocevar will unlap himself, but he can't have a yellow. That's what will kill this strategy.
There's a range of stops with 113 to go, but not yet from the race leader of Austin Dillon. His teammate is in, and Dave's there.
The damaged 8 comes to pit lane, still not overheating, so good for Kyle to race there. He'll get 4 tires here in fuel.
Boy, Dave, just not the night Chris Buescher expected this evening. A former Richmond winner. They have struggled with the handling of the car. They've been in the top 10 a couple of times, but have not been able to keep it there. Denny Hamlin will come down pit road this time, and they had a 3rd bad stop on the last stop for Denny Hamlin, and they have a crush panel that's come loose in the left rear, so they're kind of worried about how this stop might go as well, Dave.
You see the 60 on the bottom of the screen there, to the right, the 99 of Daniel Suarez. The 60 went straight backwards. I asked Eric Finley, the crew chief. He shrugged his shoulders, don't know what happened to the 60. He'll get 4 fresh here, as will Suarez.
See the 99, he was running pretty good. We'll have an idea of how much time. The 77 of those guys, well, look, the 3 is already down into turn 3. So the 99 on the bottom left, you see the map, 99 exiting turn 2. The leader, Austin Dillon, right here just behind the 77. So Hocevar has already unlapped himself. The power of early pit stops is huge.
Is that going to work to the favor of the driver of the Delaware Life 77 Chevy for Spire Motorsports?
I love the race that they're calling. You know what they're calling, Jeff? They're calling a race that they're not afraid to lose.
Right.
That they have to win.
They got to go for it.
They have to.
The 22-year-old from Michigan, it could be his night. We'll see. There's still a long way to go. 109 laps left. Kim's there.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney, and he said it feels like the car is finally coming to me after major Madeline's complaints earlier in the run. As we look at Bubba Wallace, kind of sideways in his box, but finally saying the car is loose. They tried to tighten him up. Dave.
Alex Bowman told his team it's really good. Building free a little bit, but I burned off the tires at the start. Tire off on Bubba Wallace's car.
No.
We saw it leave. The team tried to stop him.
Stop right there, stop right there.
All right, on the radio, they're telling him to stop. The 19's got to help him. They're going to try to put this tire back on. That's a Toyota teammate. Pit stop, come right to life. They're going to jack it up. Someone could tell them the tire they need is over here. See if they can put it back on. There you go. Crew members bringing it over. Nice work by the 19. I mean, it's going to kill the 23's chance of perhaps winning, but what great work by the 19 to help the 23. We watched it happen live. He left. There were sparks up the left front. Tire changer wasn't done. A huge blow to Bubba Wallace and the 23. Jeff, let's look at this left front.
You can see right here, jack goes up, tire goes on. It just does not get finished. Jack drops. And that is the problem with these fast pit stops. Watch this jack man. Watch him. Look what he looks at. Gets the right rear tire on. He thinks it's tight. He's looking at the left front. He thinks it's tight, but it's not.
Statistically, the best pit crew of the year when you look at the averages and the potential speed, the tire going down pit road. Now, the tire didn't make it on the racetrack, so I wouldn't expect this to be any sort of suspensions later. But, man, what a costly penalty for the 23. He was running second before this cycle.
And Toyota teammate help there from the JGR squad.
And also a penalty on pit road. Christopher Bell, he was penalized for speeding.
What's up here with the 54?
Definitely some smoke out of the rear bumper on the 54. I can't tell where it's coming from, but there's definitely some haze coming out of the back.
The 20 car was a commitment line violation.
There's a fire in the left front. You can see it behind the left rear tire. I don't know if that's the balls of rubber. Jeff, soft tire. Kim, what's going on with the 54?
Yeah, he came on the radio, said the brake pedal is going very long. That's the 54 of Ty Gibbs.
Okay, so I didn't know if it was tire rubber, but brake pedal going long. Maybe they finally wore the brakes out. That could be a brake fluid, or there could be a fire that damaged the line. But either way, a big issue for the 54. In all of this chaos, Carson Hocevar has taken over the race lead, 4.5 seconds over Barry.
See if it goes out.
See,
no brake pedal, boys.
No brake pedal. The call from Ty Gibbs.
So either the brake pedal is the cause of the fire, or there's a fire due to tire rubber that has caused the brakes to fail. Chicken or the egg, not really going to be able to tell until the car comes into the pits and we get a look.
Yeah, look at the left front. See the fire in the left? That tells me that is a brake issue that's caused this problem.
You get the
That's
brake
up
guy
on
down
the
there and see
firewall.
what's going on.
The only thing I can figure is we burned through a line, but I don't know what else to tell you.
Burned through a line,
right.
So maybe a brake line has laid against a header or something that is burned, and then the brake fluid is leaking on, the headers and fire. I mean, it's a big fire.
Yeah.
And it's high.
So, Carson Hocevar leads Ryan Blaney by 3.4 seconds. Then William Byron, Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, the top 5.
We talked about the 77 missing pit road. Well, here's the 20 of Bell. 4 tires underneath the orange box is the rule right there. You cannot touch that orange box and come to pit road. If you would have gone onto the racetrack, it would have been no penalty. When you choose to pit, that's a commitment line violation.
And that's why we talked about this 77 car, Hocevar. He made a mistake, but he didn't make a bad situation worse.
Yeah.
He went ahead and admitted it. Hey, I'm not going to make it. Went on the racetrack rather than what we saw with the 20.
And that's Ryan Preece unlapping himself. The pole sitter who led 60 laps early in this Cookout 400.
A lot went on real quick. Hocevar pitted early. The 54 has this fire. Blaney's off pit road. Byron, and then Dillon. Remember, the leader is now in 4th.
We're blowing up.
Like Gibbs
I'm like
says,
super flat now.
we're blowing up.
Well, yeah, whatever that fire is, I'm sure is damaging more things under the hood.
So there's the 3 of Austin Dillon. He pitted after Hocevar, pitted after Blaney, pitted after Byron. That's why he lost the lead.
Bottom end on this thing.
Sounds like it's going to be night done for Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, and it's just an unfortunate situation. It'll be interesting to see what the team finds.
Austin Dillon is just a little bit over a second and a half behind Hocevar.
And here comes Blaney. Here comes Ryan Blaney, the 12, top box on the right. His tires are some 12 laps fresher than race leader Carson Hocevar. As we're now less than 100 laps to go, we're into the final quarter. And new race leader, Ryan Blaney, to the front for Team Penske in that body armor Ford. .92 laps to go here in Richmond, and Ryan Blaney leads the way, albeit by just 1 second over Austin Dillon. It has been a very solid night for the Team Penske pilot. Champion of a couple of years ago, and coming into good form in time for the playoffs. Time now for the ones to watch, presented by Credit One Bank. Stevie, you're going to kick us off.
Well, I'm going to watch this 12 of Ryan Blaney. Pitted a lap before the 3 of Austin Dillon. Had a better pit stop. All of that adds up with him getting in front of the 3 on pit road. Now the question is, does he have car enough? I think the 3 is the best car, but great execution, the word of the night for the 12 car.
Well, I'm still thinking Austin Dillon can make this happen. They cannot give up anything on pit strategy, on pit road. You cannot give up track position to a team like Ryan Blaney. But Austin Dillon, all the way back in 28th in the playoff standings, wins tonight. He makes the playoffs.
And how about Spire Motorsports youngster Carson Hocevar? Could tonight be the night? Remember, he was leading in Michigan earlier this year, and he was going very well until he got that flat. He finished second in Nashville. So the guy who leads the race now, maybe, just maybe, it could be his night.
And I was bullish on the strategy of 3 pit stops, but I will tell you the first run was okay. The start of this run, okay. It's hard to understand because there are different strategies, but I just look at the raw data and where he's tracking. He's kind of tracking behind what I have as the bogey, right? He has to run a certain lap time to get there. Currently, the 77 just doesn't have the car enough He's bleeding too much time when he's behind on tires.
And that's what happened earlier. He was begging Luke Lambert to come in. He said, after 15 laps, I'm done.
You're right.
And that's when he missed pit lane.
I mean, you see what it is, right? We expect him to be slower because his tires are older, but he needs to be down in the 25.1, 25.2 range. That extra 0.3 of a second, that's exactly what he was talking about, Diff, right? Like, the car's just not good enough. You have to have the right strategy and a good handling race car. Something is amiss on the long run.
So one we didn't mention in all of that is the guy running in third place.
Oh, yeah.
Alex Bowman, the fastest car on the racetrack the last several laps. In third place, 3.5 seconds behind Austin Dillon and Blaney, but he has really good pace right now.
Hey, Dave, he came in on the same lap as Ryan Blaney, lap 291, and as Jeff just pointed out, he's only 3 seconds adrift.
And Lee, remember how at the beginning of the race we talked about how he tells everyone he is a guy that just lives so much stress in his life. I asked his crew chief, Blake Harris, how he keeps him level. And he does it just by being in his life and keeping to the routines. They spend a lot of time together, and he knows him very well. The other thing he reminded me is I'm very aggressive. The driver is that anyway. He's very aggressive when he needs to be. Tonight, he's had to be aggressive, yet he's had to be so careful with those tires. And so far, he's done it right, Kim.
And for Josh Berry running in the 4th position, I talked to him about what he likes here at Richmond, and he described racing here at this track as coming very natural to him. He said it's been easier to adapt here than most other tracks. He was very tight earlier, in fact, plowing tight. They've worked to get that car better. Right now, he just needs a little bit drive off.
Let's not forget about Joey Logano behind Josh Berry from last to 5th. Daniel Suarez is hanging in there in 6th. William Byron 7th. Cindric Hocevar, and a good rebound. Marty Snyder mentioned that when we were in the last ad break. What a rebound after being involved in that 12-car wreck earlier. The 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing runs in 10th place.
I think Carson Hocevar is probably a couple laps away. He should be the first car to come to pit road for his 2nd set of tires. That'll be a little bit of a deviation from everyone else. Once again, kind of tracking a little too slow, but he has an opportunity to work on your car. You still have 81 laps to go, so you can make some adjustments. Remember, some of that time he gave up was coming to pit road. There you go, pitting this time. Hand's going to come out the window, wave to the 11 of Denny Hamlin, the 5 of Kyle Larson in the rearview mirror. You can't let them get to your inside off too, Jeff. You got to kind of really hug the bottom here. Let them go around the outside.
Get your hand out the window. Let everybody know that you're coming to pit road. Do not want to get run over from behind. You said it, Steve, going all the way to the left. Made it very clear he was coming to pit road.
Now he just needs a clean stop. We saw a huge mistake from the 23 while running 2nd. Ended his opportunity. There's still a lot of racing on this strategy. Now it's up to the pit crew, Marty, of the 77.
And Luke Lambert and Carson Hocevar, the only group playing this 3-stop strategy here in stage 3. When I asked him how he is at saving tires this morning, Hocevar told me as they drop it on the right side, he said, I'm an all-gas, no-brake guy, so I'm not great at saving tires. He said it goes way too free, too early in the run. And with 79 to go, they'll kind of split this last run in half, Steve.
Execution is the word of the night. First he mits pit road. Now this time it's on the pit crew. Right side up, car down. You can't bleed seconds if you're going to be off strategy.
You rejoin us just in time to see this fight for the lead. Austin Dillon on Ryan Blaney. The 3 is through.
That is amazing how Austin Dillon rolls the center of the corner. Watch this right here. Ryan Blaney's going to make this difficult, but 3-car right here just rolls the middle so well.
Good fight from Ryan Blaney. He is not going to give up this lead that easily.
And as these two battle, this reels the 48 of Bowman in. Jeff, you had pointed out a Richmond winner in his career. The 48 of Bowman loves this. He says, get side by side a little bit more. Keep bleeding time.
It was 3.9 seconds. It's down to 3.2 for Alex Bowman. With these two guys slowing each other up, when will the 48 enter this scene?
And remember, this entire battle happened because the 12 came just one lap earlier. That cycled him in front of the 3. That same chess match is getting ready to happen again. When will your last stop be? Will it be your last stop? Are you saving a set of tires? Crew chiefs' heads are exploding down there on pit road trying to do these calculations.
Austin Dillon, you've got to make this pass as quickly as possible. You got to put space between you and that 12 car. The reason why that 12 pit crew is so good, if you come on pit road at the same time, they have an advantage. They're just a very fast pit crew. So the 3, if he can clear the 12 and drive away from him, that's imperative to give Austin the best chance to win this race.
Has he finally cleared Blaney? Not yet. As Blaney again in that middle groove. This is Dillon's best chance here, but Ryan comes back.
He rolls the middle of the corner so well, but corner exit, Blaney pinches him off. Doesn't give him any room. Look how low the 3-car was on corner exit.
Lower box, grandfather Richard Childress. In his driving days, Richard did some 19 starts here. He would love to see his grandson go back to victory lane and keep the points and the playoff berth this year.
Best run on corner exit right there that Austin has had.
That gold car, the 51 of Cody Ware, 3 laps down, but fresher tires. He's trying to get one of his laps back while he has the fresher tires here. He's trying to stay out of it and trying to go by at the same time. He's finally going to turn left to go 3 wide.
And they're coming up on Ross Chastain.
You know what's amazing is these guys battle like this. They're only about a half of a tenth slower than Alex Bowman.
It hasn't brought Bowman into the mix at all. In fact, Bowman's bled a little bit of time. It's out to 3.6 seconds now. So it was closer a little earlier.
I have about 10 laps away from what I would consider to be a standard 2-stop strategy here. About lap 345 or 346 is when the leaders would be expected to pit. But remember, 1 lap earlier was the difference maker as this battle continues.
And looming large in their mirrors is Carson Hocevar on that 3-stop strategy for this final stage. Hocevar's entering turn 1. Top 2 are coming off.
He's got to take it right here. He's got track position on Blaney. He's got to overdrive this entry and kind of run Blaney up the racetrack. He's got to make this pass.
Blaney's been relentless though, Jeff, hasn't he? He does not want to relinquish this lead.
Couldn't quite get it done.
What a race.
Yeah.
What a battle.
Awesome from both of them. And this is setting up beautifully for the final phase of this final stage with 62 laps to go from here.
Jeff, you mentioned their lap times. They're actually pulling away from Bowman. Unbelievable with this battle.
Oh, good run right here. The pressure coming from Chastain.
Yeah. And the 77 is not far behind.
That slow pit stop has just killed the 77. Those extra 2 seconds. This is to unlap himself, which is very important, but I love the call. The execution not quite as good as it needed to be.
He just cannot make this fast. Had good run right there, but now Hocevar is going to take this bottom lane. What does this do to Blaney? 3 wide. Actually helps Austin Dillon.
Clear.
They go either side of John Hunter Nemechek. And Hocevar's able to unlap himself.
That was one of those hip checks that he can blame on Hocevar, right? He gets in there. I can't run any lower.
And that was the point of separation for Austin Dillon.
Now, if you're Blaney, you might want to jump to pit road a lap earlier. No, the 3's going to come. I love the call by Dillon. Not going to get jumped to pit road this time. He gets the lead. He comes to pit road. First to attack, the 3 of Dillon with the race lead. 59 to go. Kim.
They quickly jumped on the radio, said pit now, want to be the first to pit last if possible. No major complaints from Austin. That car's so good on the long run. Looking for what could be the money stop here for fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel.
Great job from Austin Dillon to get out around the 42. I thought he was going to get blocked in. The John Hunter did stop very deep in his box. Blaney continues, though. So now Blaney might think, hey, Dillon ran me down with some tires. Maybe he's going to run longer. Little surprising. I thought he'd be on the other side of this, but nope. Him and Bowman stay on the racetrack.
Is that the call from crew chief Richard Boswell that's going to get the win for the 3 of Austin Dillon?
Now the 3 needs to get unlapped quickly. Remember, he is a lap down to Blaney currently in the
tires these first 2 laps. Take care of them.
Take care of him. He knows they have to go 57 laps, so take care of him. Austin Dillon sees the 12 and goes, man, let me just unlap myself real quick.
I have no right rear tire left.
Blaney screaming about right rear grip.
No right rear tire left.
Oh, he's screaming because he saw Austin Dillon hit pit road. He's like, I want to hit pit road too. I need some fresh tires.
And he's right.
We'll pit this time.
Pit this time. Okay, the 12's going to come to pit road. You lose 29 seconds. So the 12, even with a perfect stop, is going to come 4 or 5 seconds behind the 3 on the racetrack, but have 3 lap fresher tires or 3 or 4 lap fresher tires. Let's see how Blaney does get on his entry. That's first, Jeff.
Got to get on pit road cleanly. He's under the orange box, so he's good there. Bowman follows him on the pit road. Kim.
And for Ryan Blaney, looking for not only his first win at Richmond, but what would be his first top 5 here at this short track. They've gotten that car turning to Ryan's liking. They are done with that stop. Wow.
Alex Bowman brings a 48 to his pit stall. He said it was a little bit freer this run, but still pretty good for the 48 driver.
48 pitted as well. Blaney leaving. You're going to see on the 48 on the right. Blaney's going to hold serve to the 48. Now the question is, how far up the road will the 3 of Dillon be? It should be about 5 seconds, which I imagine is going to be most of the backstretch. That's what all of the tools say. Dillon is in the middle of 3 and 4. Blaney just now on the end of the backstretch. So the gap is now set. The tires have reset. Can the fresher tires pay off for Blaney as they did on that long run for Dillon?
I like this call by the 3 car, and here's why. They have the best car in the long run. So yes, they've given up some tire to this 12 car, but I don't know 40 laps down the road that the 12 car can be as fast as the 3, even with a little bit fresher tire. I just think that's the strength, and I think they played to the strength. I love this aggressive call.
The old saying, be the first to pit last. And is that going to be the magic play for the 3?
Man, there's a big lead on him over a straightaway.
Okay, so here's what I need. If I'm Austin Dillon, I need one thing and one thing only. Where is the guy that when all this cycles out, Blaney, where is he? What is his pace? I really don't need to be a whole lot faster than he is. I just need to be the same pace or just a little bit slower. Don't eat these tires up.
So with 51 laps to go, remember the gap. It's just under 15 seconds. Blaney, back from race leader, will give you the gap to Dillon. Next weekend, we head to the World Center of Racing. It's going to be fabulous, and it is the cutoff race at Daytona International. We'll see you on NBC on network television, 7:30 p.m. Eastern next Saturday night. But there's a whole bunch else going on across the 3 national series, so it's going to be fun. So, qualifying for Xfinity Series, the race, Cup practice and qualifying on True TV, and then we will go racing on Saturday night. Hey, let's take a look at the Xfinity fastest lap. And Bubba Wallace, Austin Dillon, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. What could have been for Tyler Reddick if he wasn't caught up in that? What could have happened for Bubba Wallace without that stray wheel?
A lot of racing left to go here. But clearly, if Austin Dillon can win this race, he will lock himself in the playoffs. But think about next week, Daytona. 5 of the last 7 summer Daytona winners, they got the first win of the year at that race.
Yeah.
So you have to assume that's going to happen again.
Carson Hocevar is going to continue with his strategy. We expect him to come on the pit road this time. I just think, it's kind of gone away with pace and speed. Now, Blaney, on the other hand, has knocked that gap that you talked about down now under 5 seconds, Diff. Under 5 seconds. So a little bit of traffic for the 3 and 4 lap fresher tires for Blaney really paying off.
What you got, Marty?
Diff, you got to give credit to Luke Lambert for throwing the Hail Mary here with Carson Hocevar, trying to do the 3-stop strategy in stage 3. I think a couple of execution issues trying to get to pit road, and now a second execution issue, back-to-back stops where they've had to re-jack up the right side of the car for the 77. That doesn't help. And I think car-wise overall, Lee, they've gone way too free, way too early in the runs. But they tried something at least to get the 77 up front. We'll see where he cycles out of this 3rd stop in stage 3.
Jeff, you and I talked at the beginning who we thought could win, and there are cars that show up with speed that could win, but the execution is so difficult, and just a little bit of trouble on the right side again. Right side goes in. Jackman just prematurely drops the jack. Kind of as simple as that. Slow right rear. Jackman just didn't wait. It was going to be slow either way. But that'll probably be the final chance for the 77 for something to happen. So now I kind of look forward to what's happening on the racetrack, and I think it's as simple as, barring a yellow, it's can the 3 of Austin Dillon hold off a hard-charging Ryan Blaney with 4-lap fresher tires, and now under 4 seconds from behind.
Yeah, he's taking chunks of time out of him. From 5 seconds down to 3.9. Ryan Blaney is storming towards Austin Dillon. Alex Bowman, what a great night for the Hendrick driver. And Daniel Suarez remains in the top 5 in 4th in his Quaker State Trackhouse Chevy. Joey Logano from last to 5th. What a night it's been here in Richmond, and it's not over yet. 30 laps to go. That's it in this 400 lap cookout 400. And for the 35-year-old from Welcome, North Carolina, it's about 240 miles from where we sit here in Richmond. Austin Dillon, can he do it? Can he get there? Hadn't led laps since this race a year ago. And here tonight he's led 78. What a turnaround. That speed has been coming in recent races for RCR, for both their cars. But can it go all the way? Let's take a walk through the field. And Kimmy Kuhn, if you would, kick us off.
Yeah, and Lee, Austin Dillon has been very complimentary of that race team, especially recently. He said, I feel like this is one of the strongest teams I've ever worked with. I'm super excited about the finish of this year. Not only that, what they have for 2026, but they have had speed all weekend. In fact, Richard Boswell telling me they weren't really happy with their speed from lap 1 to 15 of a run, but they said after about lap 30, they kick it into gear so strong on the long run. Running behind him in that second position, Ryan Blaney still looking for his first top 5 at Richmond. Talking with crew chief Jonathan Hassler, he said, look, he's had some struggles with tire management at Richmond, but if you look at intermediates that have fall off, he's great there. He just hasn't been good here. He said, I think it's all a mental thing with Ryan. He gets in his own head about it, especially with lackluster stats here. If we can just get him focused, we can break out of the cycle, Dave.
They told Alex Bowman, you are on pace to take the lead, and that'd be a good thing because we showed you the playoff bubble on the lower left a moment ago, and Bowman is down to 16th. A new winner like Austin Dillon would push him out. He has got to find a way to the front, Marty.
Boy, Dave, best run in recent memory for Austin Cindric, who's been in the top 10 the entire day. And what he will tell you is his least favorite track. Not his least favorite, but his least successful track. So he borrowed Joey Logano's setup coming into the weekend. And, man, this two-car has come to life. And Austin has delivered behind the wheel, sitting in 4th right now, looking at a top 5, Dave.
Daniel Suarez is that top 5 car, not racing for Trackhouse Racing next year. We know that. We don't know what he's going to do. But nights like tonight and days like last weekend at Watkins Glen go a long way. 7th last week, currently running 5th, Kim.
What a rebound on the weekend for Joey Logano, currently running in the 6th position. Rewind yesterday, had a tire issue in practice, then could not complete his qualifying effort. Started from the rear of the field, took advantage of strategy. Paul Wolf telling me this has always been a great track for us. Short tracks are our strength. We need a good run these last 2 races for team morale before the playoffs. And talk about needing team morale before the playoffs. How about the 5 of Kyle Larson? They have been searching for momentum. Crew chief Cliff Daniels saying these next 2 races are imperative, so we start the playoffs on the right foot. Already Kyle Larson running in the 7th position in front of Denny Hamlin.
Him in his hometown race, Denny Hamlin's going to think about what could have been tonight with a car that he called, quote, exceptional. But the execution was not exceptional for the 11 team. A handful of rough stops on pit road, 1 speeding penalty, and 1 wreck. Hamlin still with a lot of speed, though. He's been hanging out in that 7th, 8th position, battling Josh Berry right now, Lee, for that spot.
And Marty, it's a night of what could have been. He described his car as superb earlier in the night, but just too many hiccups. Too many times been pushed back on the back foot. But he's hanging tough, still in 9th place.
Back up front, Austin Dillon with 4 lap older tires than Ryan Blaney, who's in 2nd. And Austin Dillon, even though older tires, he is faster than Blaney. This was the strength of this 3 car all night long. He has a very unique line that he runs around this racetrack, especially on this part of the racetrack. Watch what he does. He runs that car way low. He never even gets close to the wall. Everybody else uses all of the racetrack on the exit of turn 4. He does not use it. There is more grip at times on the bottom of this racetrack. Let's do it again when the 17 is no longer in the picture. Austin Dillon to the bottom of the racetrack, runs up the hill a little bit in the middle, left side's on the yellow line on exit. Look, there is a lane between he and the wall. Let's go back and look at the 12 car. 12 car running 2nd, really good speed. He is using all of the racetrack, trying to get by SVG right here. Let's see if he clears him. You got to clear him so I can give the example. But you watch what he does. He goes to the bottom. All this looks the same. It all is the same as what the 3 is doing, but the 12 runs all the way up the racetrack, to the wall. Even though he's trying to pass SVG, it shows you the advantage that Dillon has. He's able to run a shorter distance around the racetrack, more rear grip, and that is why he has had so much pace.
Continuing to grow the advantage. It's gone from 3-4, 3-5 to 4 seconds now. Austin Dillon over Ryan Blaney. Tell us more about the 12, Kim.
Well, we've talked how good the 3 is on the long run. What does Ryan Blaney think he has for the remainder of the race, the last 17 laps? Take a listen to the radio.
Oh no, way too hard. Saving the whole round and struggling.
So you heard him say falling off way too early and way too hard. So it does not look like there is longevity in the tires for Ryan Blaney as we count down the laps here at Richmond.
And if the 48, Steve, can get by, we go on board the Ally Chevrolet of Alex Bowman. He can get by. There's some more points there, and he's living life on the line. As far as the playoff points are concerned, Bowman will be the 16th and final one heading to Daytona as he gets ready to make a move on Ryan Blaney.
48 right now is the fastest car. He had a couple of issues with lap traffic that cost him big chunks with 16 to go. I'm just not sure he can make up 4 seconds. You would talking, it'd be basically a quarter second a lap. That would be huge chunks.
How far back, fourth?
Well, he got a half a second that lap, so we'll see if he continues. And you heard Blaney ask how far back's 4th. So for Bowman, the question is, can he muster a charge to the 3? He has a little bit of miscellaneous traffic. The 3 of Dillon is in traffic.
Dillon ran a 25 that lap. Bowman ran a flat.
In traffic.
0.2 of a second faster.
It's down to 3.6 seconds.
And you got to be careful because normally you can project these out pretty easily, but with these low grip tires or high fall off tires, however you want to pay, you know, we've seen them fall off a cliff, right? Like last week at Watkins Glen, I know it's very different, but there's guys that give up seconds over the last couple laps. So the 48 now is at least on the same straightaway as the 3. He's got to push the issue and make the 3 run some good laps. That last time, though, a wash.
Yep, that was stable. They were both very level. So it stays at 3.6 seconds. 13 laps to go. That's all here in Richmond.
And Austin Dillon is very happy to see about half a front stretch clear in front. I was called out a year ago when I didn't think the practice speed of the 3 was real, and I didn't think he had an opportunity. We talked about it in the pre-race. I wasn't going to be caught off guard a second time. He came back a year later, a different tire, a year's worth of development, yet still has something between how he drives this racetrack and what they've given him to drive that is just different. And it is a standout racetrack for the 3 of Austin Dillon.
Only another 1/10 of an advantage to Bowman there, so it's down to 3.4. It's not the chunks that Alex Bowman needs. By the way, before we've still got 11 to go, before we do finish, what have you thought about the tire package that Goodyear brought here? Now we've seen the whole race unfold.
I love the fact that there's so much fall off, and we see the difference with Bowman and Blaney, right? Same number of laps on tires. Bowman's car is driving better. He was able to get by Blaney. Austin Dillon has the best car. He's able to drive by people. A good handling car. You can pass tonight. I think it's a huge win.
Blake Harris there, crew chief, just saying, come on, come on. We've got to get this win to lock ourselves into the playoffs.
Remember, a year ago, it looked much the same. And a late caution brought everyone to pit road. The 3 car held the lead off pit road, but then lost the lead on a restart. That's when the pushing and the shoving that ended up removing him from the playoffs started. So, you know, with 9 to go, it is not over.
I can assure you that Austin Dillon remembers that.
Oh,
he
yeah.
does not want a caution right now.
8 laps to go in Richmond. 3.1 seconds. So Bowman did take a couple more 1/10 of a second out. Richard Childress looks on anxiously.
The only one more nervous than Austin.
RC. Think of the things he's seen, my goodness. Problem with the 48 is traffic ahead. 2 and 3 cars right in his path.
He's got a lot of traffic to deal with. 7 more.
That's great radio. Just take a little pressure off your driver. Hey, the 48 has traffic to deal with. We can't give him time, right? Let him earn it.
I can help. They hate us.
And this is tough for Alex Bowman to try and weave his way through this while trying to catch the 3 with laps dwindling. It's now down to 6 laps as Austin Dillon crosses the line.
Only 13 cars in the lead lap.
Catch up.
That 88 car, the last one, he's the first car 1 lap down at 14th.
Not gonna help. They hate us. He's not racing anybody either, which is awesome. I know. They hate us.
Got down to 2.9 seconds, but Bowman cannot clear. John Hunter Nemechek, Jesse Love up ahead, Shane Van Gisbergen up high.
And you see the gap. Heading into next week, Bowman would have 58 points, which would assure that the points would be enough, but no assurance with the potential new winner. And that's what Austin Dillon is proving once again. It can happen. It happened a year ago. We had 2 winners in the last couple races. It was your son a year ago at Daytona, Jeff. We've seen that walk-off win to end the regular season. So the 58 points is a glimmer of hope, but no one wants to be on the cut line heading to Daytona.
Inside the final 4 laps, there are nerves in 2 camps specifically. That's at the top of the box with Richard Boswell, the crew chief of Austin Dillon and the RCR team.
And I'm going to give it to Richard Boswell. Remember, he ran the 12 car down past the 12 and then
called him in.
Called him to pit road first. So hard to pit first as the lead. Great work from on top of the pit box and just spectacular work from behind the wheel.
One of the foundation teams in NASCAR Cup Series competition has needed a boost. And this boost is just the juice that they need.
He wants to see that white flag. He knows that would be an assurance of no more restarts.
5 wins on his Cup career, 6 poles.
It's been 3 years since Austin Dillon went to the playoffs. He comes to the last lap.
White flag.
1 to go, presented by Credit One Bank.
This would be his first win with crew chief Richard Boswell. Both have won before, but never together.
Last year here at Richmond Raceway, it was controversy right here, where there was contact with Joey Logano, contact with Denny Hamlin. There's no contact this year. It's all Austin Dillon. He's going to the playoffs.
Let's go, baby! Who is your daddy? Let's go!
Austin Dillon wins in Richmond.
Good job.
To the
Great
delight
call, Richard.
of his grandfather, who says what Steve just said. Great call, Richard Boswell. Win and you're in, and the 3 is in. They're going to the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs.
You were supposed to do it last year. And 4 seconds. I am so proud of you. Just remember one thing. Got a pros is the crowd that just never.
Think there's some passion behind that burnout?
A year in the making.
Austin Dillon said he was pumped about tonight. He loves Richmond and he's a Daytona 500 winner. He knew over the next 2 weekends he had a chance. That chance has become a reality.
Lee, this is going to be a team celebration this year. The 3-team and Austin Dillon leave no doubt. Welcome to the playoffs, Austin Dillon. You can tell he left it all out there on the track tonight.
Hell yeah!
Austin, the way it all played out last year, how important was it for you to come back in front of the sellout crowd and do it the right way?
Man, that feels good. I got to thank the good Lord above, you know. I really wanted that one. Last year hurt really bad, just going through the whole process of it. But this one feels so sweet. And, man, I love Richmond. Our Winchester Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet is really good. I was thrown out a lot this week. Didn't feel great. I'm actually racing with a broken rib right now for the last 2 weeks. And, man, that was awesome.
All the emotion this team went through, the entire organization at RCR, does this year-long wait make it worth it?
Oh, for sure. You know, God has timing, and his timing is the best timing. I'm so excited to get my wife and kids here to celebrate with us. Man, it's so sweet. My dad prayed with me before the race. He was at our hunting land doing some food plots, and it's just so special. Every one of these means so much to me, and my grandfather for all that he's put up and believing in me, because there's been a lot of ups and downs, and could have been easy for him to change the drivers in this 3-car, but today it feels really darn good.
Why Richmond? What is it about this place that makes you come alive?
Tire management. I probably am the slowest to get going on some of these tracks when it really comes to high grip, but when it comes to these places and taking care of your stuff, I'll go against the best of them.
How about doing this for RCR? Did you feel like you were carrying the weight of the entire company with you in those final few laps?
Man, we really love it in Welcome, North Carolina. When you cross those railroad tracks, it's all for one and one for all. So I'm really pumped to be driving for my grandfather and our family.
I think he also loves it in Richmond, Virginia as well. His brother Ty, first one on the scene, and to welcome Austin Dillon into the 2025 Cup Series playoffs.
Beautiful family moment.
Drive it back?
Yep. And we're going to talk more about this and Richmond as a whole in the Progressive post-race show, which is coming up. This is going to be a popular victory. Two wins at Richmond within the space of a year, but two very different outcomes. Just the one race in Richmond this year, and boy, it was worth it. A new winner and a new entrant into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Austin Dillon in the 3 for Richard Childress Racing. And there is a whole lot of joy and relief and celebration to know that they've got 10 races. Can they go to all 10 in the playoffs? We'll talk more about it in the Progressive post-race show. More interviews coming up. Stick around.